Chapter 101 Major Excavation. The number of golden light beads required to exchange for the first treasure on the myriad treasure stele is indeed frighteningly large. The vast majority of youths have already given up on this treasure, searching the myriad treasure stele for items they might be able to exchange for. Yet Yi Chen's gaze remained fixed on the first-ranked treasure of the myriad treasure stele, his eyes not wavering in the least at the sight of the massive number of golden light beads required. Heavenly Saint Dekong's innate essence map, containing the 18 powerful moods awakened by Heavenly Saint Dekong during the Spirit Sea Realm stage. If possible, I still have to strive to obtain this treasure. Yi Chen had already cultivated 3 major sword intents, among which the Wind Sword intent greatly increased his strength, enabling him to seize first place in the 3 clans' grand competition. The Wind Sword intent was what he had comprehended from Chen Jizi's demonstration of winds concept back in the Thousand Lotus Cave abode. Yi Chen knew the moods of a Heavenly Saint Realm powerhouse were incredibly precious. Like Chen Jizi, Heavenly Saint Dekong, who had also reached the Heavenly Saint Realm, his 18 powerful innate essence maps could possibly help him comprehend several more powerful moods as well. Not just the myriad treasure stele's first-ranked treasure. Other treasures like the Creation Yuan Pill, the Life Origin Pill, the Ethereal Spirit Ring, all these items stirred Yi Chen's heart. He hadn't even started collecting golden light beads, and Yi Chen wasn't about to give up on any treasure. He would do his utmost to obtain as many golden light beads as possible. Then, he would decide which treasures to exchange for. If he gave up before even starting, that would only cause him to be weak-hearted and lose the courage to compete for treasures. Yi Chen wouldn't give up any opportunity to exchange for the treasures. He would fight fiercely for more golden light beads, to exchange for more treasures, while Bai Xiaodai, Qian Ming, Yi Shui, and the others were all filled with competitive spirit. I must exchange for a small spirit pill. The Life Origin Pill might save my life in battle. I must acquire one. Even if the Creation Yuan Pill requires 1,000,000 golden light beads, I must fight to obtain it. Each and every youth was overflowing with fighting spirit. And then, the voice of the spirit of the sacred artifact resonated once more. The number of golden light beads required for these treasures has been made clear. I'll give you 10 days to collect golden light beads in this periphery area. The number of golden light beads you collect determines how many treasures you can exchange for. The number of treasures you get depends on your strength. After 10 days, the teleportation array leading to the central area of the Ancestral Land Secret Realm will also open. If you wish to enter the central area, you will need to exchange golden light beads for the opportunity. Entering the central area will cost 10,000 golden light beads. If you don't have enough golden light beads to enter the central area, you'll have to stay in the periphery of the secret realm to cultivate for the remaining time, and your chance at the treasures will end. Little fellows, remember, you only have 10 days to collect golden light beads. After 10 days, whether you can enter the central area or the next round of the grand treasure opportunity will depend on whether you accumulate 10,000 golden light beads. After 10 days, how many treasures you can exchange for on the myriad treasure stele will depend on how many golden light beads you have obtained. I'm giving you another treasure now, so get ready to start collecting golden light beads. The words of the spirit of the sacred artifact greatly bolstered the spirits of all the youths. Yi Chen and the other top 10, holding the Ancestral Ground secret maps, knew that the areas indicated by the maps lie within the central region of the Ancestral Land Secret Realm. They were determined to gather the 10,000 golden light beads needed to enter that central region. The other youths, despite not having the secret maps, were of course not willing to give up the chance to search for more treasures. They wouldn't be content to only cultivate in the periphery area for the remainder of the time. They, too, would compete for the opportunity to enter the central region. To enter the central region, for the countless treasures on the myriad treasure stele, they had to seize as many golden light beads as possible within 10 days. Just as everyone was prepared to start collecting golden light beads, the sky erupted with a bright azure light, and then, rings emanating faint light began to descend from the heavens, flying towards each youth. This is the Ethereal Spirit Ring, the 4th treasure of the myriad treasure stele. I'm lending it to you temporarily for the collection of golden light beads. You will return them to me after 10 days. This ethereal spirit ring contains a vast space of 800 feet in diameter. Even if you manage to collect 100 million golden light beads, they would all fit inside. So, go ahead and collect golden light beads without worry. I have not activated the ownership array for these ethereal spirit rings. You can control and use them with your divine sense only. With the words of the spirit of the sacred artifact, the ethereal spirit ring fell into the hands of the youths. The fourth treasure, the ethereal spirit ring, a storage secret treasure that requires 200,000 golden light beads to exchange for just one. All the youths probed the ethereal spirit ring with their divine sense, and when they saw the immense space within, they were all overjoyed. As true Chi realm cultivators, they had long heard of storage secret treasures. Sadly, each storage secret treasure is forged by the space law, a mysterious law almost exclusively accessible to rotating pill realm powerhouses. Because of this, storage secret treasures were exceedingly rare. Even those that had made their way into circulation were typically only possessed by Spirit Sea realm powerhouses, and it was said that most of their storage secret treasures had spaces measuring around several dozens of feet. Now, they had the chance to use the ethereal spirit ring, which contained a vast space of 800 feet in diameter and was known as the fourth treasure of the myriad treasure steel, a fact that elated the youths. The ethereal spirit ring, a storage secret treasure. Looking at the small ring in his hand, Yi-chun was also captivated by the wondrous storage space. Good with this treasure, whether it's collecting fur, tendons, and bones after slaying demon beasts, or carrying my possessions, it will be extremely useful. Strive to exchange for one in 10 days. Yi-chun gently clasped the ethereal spirit ring in his hand as thoughts flashed through his mind. Now, this ethereal spirit ring was only lent to them by the spirit of the sacred artifact for their use. It wasn't truly theirs. If they wanted to use such a marvelous treasure in the future, of course, they needed to obtain it through their own strength. Once all the youths were familiar with the ethereal spirit ring, the spirit of the sacred artifact finally declared, "The 10-day trial of collecting golden light beads starts now. Little guys, go collect the golden light beads. Don't worry if you run too far and can't return. After 10 days, I will bring you all back here to see how many golden light beads you've managed to collect. Now set off and start collecting golden light beads." After the voice of the spirit of the sacred artifact fell, the 30 young cultivators looked toward their clan companions. Let's begin, brothers and sisters, for the secret treasure, for the opportunity to enter the central region. Start collecting golden light beads. Let's begin our first great opportunity. Yi-chun, Bai Xiaodai, Qian Ming, the youths from the 3 clans, brimmed with fighting spirit. In an instant, all of the youths activated their movement techniques, darting off in all directions, while their hands reached for the small golden fruits on the branches of the green flow creeper. Boom! Yi-chun spread his divine sense, encompassing everything within a radius of several hundred yards. Executing the wind movement skills, he soared into the air, then reached out towards the void, with countless golden light beads within a 100-yard radius flying straight toward his position. The sky filled with flying golden light beads, easily numbering in the hundreds. In an instant, these golden light beads disappeared into the ethereal spirit ring on Yi-chun's thumb. This was Yi-chun harnessing the power of sword intent to collect the golden light beads. With sword intent, he could control all things as swords, so the golden light beads covered by Yi-chun's sword intent naturally complied with his command. Cultivating the primordial star scripture, Yi-chun's divine sense illuminated all around, sensing the golden light beads on each green flow creeper. Cultivating the 3 great sword intents, he could directly control the golden light beads he discovered, making them fly towards him. Additionally, the wind movement skills allowed him to continually soar through the sky, swiftly sweeping through patches of green flow creeper, to obtain as many golden light beads as possible and exchange them for the countless secret treasures on the myriad treasure steel. Yi-chun naturally would no longer conceal any part of his power. He brought forth his most overpowering power and all his methods, The green flow plains in the periphery of the ancestral land secret realm stretched endlessly. With countless billions of green flow creeper plants, there were enough golden light beads for everyone to collect. Yichen didn't need to deliberately leave anything for others. Everyone had enough to collect. How many golden light beads one could collect relied entirely on their own strength. In the midst of frantic collecting, all the young cultivators from the 3 clans on the green flow plains witnessed such an astonishing scene. Wherever Yichen went, countless golden light beads flew towards him. Dense clusters of golden light beads, like a surging river, constantly disappearing into the ethereal spirit ring on Yichen's thumb. In just a short time, Yichen had collected over 1,000 golden light beads. Heavens! This, by Xiaodai, Qianming, Yishui, the top 10 and top 30 from the 3 clans competition, watched Yichen collect golden light beads as effortlessly as picking objects from a bag, each one's mouth agape. For a moment, they even forgot to collect golden light beads themselves. They were completely stunned by Yichen's speed and method of collecting golden light beads. In the end, it was Bai Xiaodai who first came to her senses. She shook her head with a helpless smile. Yichen went towards the east. It seems we won't be able to collect many golden light beads in that direction. I'll head west to collect. With a shimmer of her snowy white outfit, Bai Xiaodai flew to the west. Then, the young cultivators awakening from the shock of Yichen's actions began collecting golden light beads once again, spurred on by him and bringing out all their own methods. In no time, the figures of 30 youths flew in all directions in the periphery of the ancestral land's secret realm. In the sky, the gigantic countenance formed by the spirit of the sacred artifact watched over the flying figures of the youths on the ground. In the end, it focused solely on Yichen. Is this the little guy who obtained the ancestral blood? Incredible! This speed of collecting golden light beads is simply the fastest I've seen in over 1,000 years. The most incredible! It hasn't been long, and he's already collected 6,000 to 7,000 golden light beads. At this rate, if it continues, the number 1 treasure on the myriad treasures stele will finally find its master. The more the spirit of the sacred artifact watched Yichen, the brighter its gigantic eyes, formed of green true qi, shone. Movement technique, concept, and his marvelous connection with the golden light beads. A prodigy, this time among the 3 clans. A prodigy has truly arrived. Chapter 102: The 3 Great Loose Cultivators of Wanya Mountain. Just as the spirit of the sacred artifact completely focused its attention on Yichen, and as the young ones from the 3 clans officially began their first grand opportunity and test within the ancestral land secret realm. Outside the ancestral land, the 3 patriarchs of the great clans and countless clan members still gathered at the entrance to the ancestral land, hesitant to leave for a long time. At this moment, behind the 4th statue at the center of the ancestral land, the black vortex entrance leading to the ancestral land's secret realm had already closed completely. Only on the day when the exploration of the ancestral land's secret realm concludes, a month later, will this entrance be opened again. The children have all entered. It seems that the test of the ancestral land's secret realm has already begun. Who knows what opportunities and fortunes these 30 of them could gain within the ancestral land's secret realm. Patriarch Bai looked at the ancestral land, his eyes filled with anticipation as well as worry. This ancestral land, which opens only once every few hundred years, was also an experience Patriarch Bai had never had. Whether the young ones from the 3 clans could acquire precious treasures inside, he wasn't fully confident. There will be great gains. There definitely will be. Patriarch Yi looked at the spot where the entrance to the ancestral land had disappeared and said with absolute certainty. Among the youths who entered the ancestral land this time, whether it be Yichen or Bai Xiaodai, they were all talents rarely seen in hundreds of years among the 3 clans. Patriarch Yi believed that they would definitely have the capability to pass the test set by Lord Dekong and secure great rewards. Let's hope so. Let's hope the children can bring us some pride. Alas, the hope for our 3 clans' prosperity rests on these children. It's been hundreds of years since we last had a Spirit Sea realm powerhouse born. I truly hope, among these children, There will eventually be those who step into the spirit sea realm. The image of Yi Chen, by Xiao Dai, and Chen Ming flashed through Patriarch Chen's mind as he sighed and spoke. The three patriarchs looked at the ancestral land with worry and anticipation. The clan members of the three clans standing outside the ancestral land shared the same sentiments as the patriarchs. The parents and relatives of the 30 young ones who had entered the ancestral land were among the crowd. They were concerned for their children's safety in the ancestral land's secret realm, and they, too, were full of hopes that their children could secure a grand opportunity. In the crowd, Little Tower stood together with Yi Chen's father and mother, who were also looking at the ancestral land with some worry at this moment. With Yi Chen's disappearance into the ancestral land, and having entered that incredibly mysterious ancestral land secret realm, the two knew nothing about this unknown and secret space and were naturally filled with concern. But Little Tower, looking at the ancestral land, had eyes shining with excitement. The ancestral land secret realm. Ah, a mysterious place that opens only once every few centuries. Who knows what the young master will gain from it this time? I wish the month would hurry by and see what he brings out. Wanya Mountain, a large mountain located outside of Qingyang City. The founding ancestors of the Yi, Bai, and Chen families all hunted for a living in these mountains. It was also in these mountains that they saved the injured and unconscious heavenly Saint Di Kong, which brought about a millennium of grand opportunities for the three families. While the attention of all the clansmen from the three families of Qingyang City was captivated by the opening of the ancestral land, in the depths of Wanya Mountain, in a stronghold called Black Cliff Stronghold, there were also some people quietly paying attention to the opening of the ancestral land of the three clans. Third brother, how is the progress regarding the three great families of Qingyang City entering that ancestral land secret realm? Within a secret chamber of Black Cliff Stronghold, a green-robed elder who sat at the highest seat spoke to a young man who had just walked in. The young man answered, "Big brother, today, the three great families have sent 30 youths into the ancestral land secret realm. According to our discovered text, a month from now, these people will come out from the ancestral land secret realm, and by then, they will bring the treasures out with them." The green-robed elder slapped his hand on the chair upon hearing the young man's words and stood up. "Good. I didn't expect that a text we found by chance, which recorded the matters of the ancestral land of the three clans, would actually come to pass. This text, left by an ancestor of the three clans who had once entered the ancestral land and later successfully cultivated to the spirit sea realm, provides information on the ancestral land that must not be mistaken. According to the text, only young people under the age of 20 from the three clans can enter this ancestral land secret realm, where they can obtain countless treasures, some of which are even useful to those in the spirit sea realm. That ancestor of the three clans managed to break through to the later stages of the spirit sea realm by relying on these treasures. Treasures, of course, are meant for those with the strength to own them. Those people from the three great families, merely in the true Qi realm, think they can monopolize the treasures of the secret realm? Dream on. Although we three brothers cannot enter that secret realm, we cannot let go of those treasures. A month from now, when those young ones bring the treasures out of the secret realm, we will head to Qingyang City and seize those items. From the words of the green-robed elder, it could be heard that he actually knew about the ancestral land secret realm of the three great families. Yes, big brother. Upon hearing the green-robed elder's words, the youth also laughed and said, "Those three major families, to be so busy with this matter, are essentially preparing a dowry for us three brothers. When second brother awakens from his seclusion, learning of this news, he will surely be overjoyed. The treasures of the secret realm, I really want to see what those legendary treasures, so highly praised in the ancestral records by the families, actually look like. Heh. It won't be long before you get to see them." The green-robed elder's eyes also emitted a greedy gleam. If there were martial cultivators in the heavenly wind kingdom who recognized this green-robed elder and the youth, they would surely realize that these two were two of the so-called three great loose cultivators of Wanya Mountain. These three great loose cultivators of Wanya Mountain dominated Black Cliff Stronghold, with countless underlings beneath them, and they were a supremely strong force within Wanya Mountain. All three loose cultivators were powerhouses of the Spirit Sea realm. The eldest, who was the leader of Black Cliff Stronghold and the one in the green robe, had reached the mid-stage of the Spirit Sea realm. The one they referred to as the second in command, currently in seclusion, also possessed mid-stage Spirit Sea realm cultivation, while the youngest, this youth, had reached the early stage of the Spirit Sea realm. The people of the three major families in Xingyang City had no idea that these three loose cultivators had inadvertently discovered one of the ancestors' cultivation cave abodes. Through the records in the cave, they learned of the ancestral land's secret realm. The three families were even more oblivious to the fact that their family tournament, intended to select youths to enter the ancestral land, had caught the attention of the three powerful Spirit Sea realm loose cultivators, all of whom harbored greed for the treasures within the secret realm. Moreover, these three had already entertained the idea of seizing the treasures, merely waiting for Yichan and the others to emerge from the secret realm with the treasures before making their move to snatch them. A crisis was quietly lurking, unknown to all of the three major families, and even to Yichan and the others who were currently within the ancestral land's secret realm. At this moment, the 30 young cultivators in the ancestral land's secret realm had already entered into a frenzied process of harvesting golden light beads. Gathering more golden light beads meant exchanging them for more treasures. So the youngsters were naturally not lax in their efforts and were striving hard to collect them. Some of them didn't even rest day and night, only taking a brief break when they could no longer persist. Out of the 30 youths, the one who had collected the most golden light beads was none other than Yichun. From the start, Yichun had led by a long shot in the number of golden light beads collected. By the end of the first day, under the watchful and intense interest of the spirit of the sacred artifact, Yichun had scoured hundreds of miles around, gathering over 1 million golden light beads by the first day's end. This number had even astonished the spirit of the sacred artifact. But when night fell, Yichun didn't continue harvesting golden light beads like the others. Instead, he sat cross-legged amidst the green flow creeper, beginning to cultivate. The amount of golden light beads Yichun had collected during the day gave him a rough estimate of the total he could eventually gather. In such a case, Yichun naturally arranged his time more reasonably between cultivation and harvesting. In the ancestral land's secret realm, true qi was incredibly abundant. Just the speed of the meridians autonomously consuming the true qi of heaven and earth was 5 to 6 times faster than outside. In this profusely abundant true qi of the world, even grasping martial skills often led to moments of enlightenment. In such circumstances, Yichun certainly wouldn't overexert himself by ceaselessly gathering golden light beads. Cultivating at night while allowing his tense spirit to relax during the day, and recovering his strained spirit and true qi, all the while elevating his internal and external martial skills was the method. Interspersing tension with relaxation allowed him to go further in the 10-day golden light bead collection period. Indeed, Yichun's strategy was remarkably effective. The youths who stayed up to harvest the beads slowed down on the second day, while Yichun, after a night's rest, hadn't slowed down at all in his harvesting on the second day. In fact, with further cultivation of his true qi and martial skills, his speed increased once more. On the second day, Yichun even collected several 100,000 more golden light beads than he had on the first day. Then came the third day, the fourth day. Yichun's speed of harvesting golden light beads became faster and faster, and more beads entered the ethereal spirit ring on his thumb. In the end, even the spirit of the sacred artifact dared not guess just how many golden light beads Yichun had collected. The 5th day, the 6th day, the 7th day. As the 10-day limit drew near, the true qi within Yichun's body was gradually advancing toward the formation of the 8th true qi vortex. Especially on the 8th day, he truly entered the comprehension of thunder sword skills, within the wind thunder sword skills, delving into the understanding of the sword intent of thunder. Also, while he was flying over the green flow plains using wind movement skills, he delved into the comprehension of an even mightier thunder movement skills. 10 days passed by as Yichun balanced cultivation with harvesting golden light beads. When the deadline for the 10-day collection of golden light beads arrived, the 30 young cultivators who had entered the ancestral land's secret realm were entirely dispersed over the vast peripheral areas of the realm. The two furthest apart were even separated by thousands of miles. That day, the movements of the youths still striving to harvest golden light beads were suddenly restrained by a force, and soon after, the voice of the spirit of the sacred artifact reached the mind of each person. The 10-day period is up, everyone. Return to the myriad treasures steal. With that voice, the 30 scattered youths in the peripheral regions of the ancestral land secret realm, including Yichun, Bai Xiaodai, Qianming, Yishui, and others, were lifted from the ground by a tremendous force and flown back to their starting point. The ancestral land's secret realm was an internal space within the sacred artifact, ethereal spirit holy temple, and as the spirit of the artifact, it could naturally summon everyone within its space with ease. In almost 3 or 4 breaths' time, under the summoning of the spirit of the sacred artifact, the 30 youths were brought back and landed below the myriad treasures steal. Chapter 103. Shocking. Crazy. Just a moment ago, they were still gathering golden light beads. The next moment, they were back beneath the myriad treasures steal. The young members of the 3 tribes stood under the myriad treasures steal, feeling that the 10 days passed too quickly. It felt like no time had passed when the deadline for gathering golden light beads arrived. Chen Feng, how many golden light beads did you collect? By Xiaoning, that's great. I gathered enough golden light beads to exchange for that spiritual artifact I've been eyeing. It's over. It's all over. I didn't manage to gather 10,000 golden light beads. In the remaining 20 days, I can only cultivate in this outer area. The major opportunity behind this has nothing to do with me anymore. The young people standing under the myriad treasure steal were discussing animatedly among themselves. There were those who asked aloud, those who were beyond excited, and those who were deeply dejected. At that moment, Bai Xiaodai, dressed in a snow-white tight-fitting outfit, her figure alluring and her cheeks charming, with her long black hair tied in a ponytail that cascaded to her waist, walked towards Yichun. Yichun, how many golden light beads did you gather? Bai Xiaodia's clear eyes were filled with curiosity as she looked at Yichun. The day they officially began to gather golden light beads, the sight of countless beads flying towards Yichun like a torrential river had left a deep impression on Bai Xiaodai. She had an intuition that at the end of the 10 days, the one who would have gathered the most golden light beads would certainly be Yichun. Now, the day of conclusion had arrived, and Bai Xiaodai was naturally extremely curious about the number of golden light beads Yichun had collected. How many? Upon hearing Bai Xiaodia's question, Yichun was slightly startled. In these days, while he gathered golden light beads, he also cultivated and hadn't counted them precisely. He only had a rough idea of the number. It should be enough, Yichun said with a smile to Bai Xiaodai. Enough? Yichun's words left Bai Xiaodia's beautiful eyes wide open. What did he mean by enough? On the myriad treasures steal, there were countless treasures. Was Yichun saying that he gathered enough golden light beads to exchange for the treasures he desired, or that he had enough to use as he pleased? Just as Bai Xiaodai was about to inquire further, in the sky, amidst the surging azure true qi, the large visage of the spirit of the sacred artifact appeared once more. Then, the spirit of the sacred artifact's huge eyes, formed from azure true qi, turned towards the 30 young men in the field, and its voice also spread out. Little guys, you've all returned. Now is the time to assess your gathering results. While speaking, the eyes of the spirit of the sacred artifact were brimming with laughter, especially when looking at Yichun. The spirit of the sacred artifact was extremely satisfied with Yichun's performance over the past 10 days. The speed at which Yichun gathered golden light beads, which had even shocked it, and the total number that even it did not know, Yichun's performance had far exceeded the expectations of the spirit of the sacred artifact. The other youths, looking up at the spirit of the sacred artifact, all noticed its gaze towards Yichun, realizing that Yichun must have had a great harvest over these 10 days. Everyone became curious about exactly how many golden light beads Yichun had gathered. At this moment, the spirit of the sacred artifact continued. The myriad treasures steal is right here, and countless treasures are within my sacred artifact space. As I've said before, the number of golden light beads you have will determine how many treasures you can exchange. As the voice of the spirit of the sacred artifact lingered, numerous inscriptions of treasures on the 30-meter-tall stele of the myriad treasure stele began to shine dazzlingly. The myriad treasure stele's first treasure, Heavenly Saint Dekong's innate essence map. The myriad treasures stele's second treasure, Creation Yuan pill. The myriad treasures stele's third treasure, Life Origin pill. The inscriptions of these treasures and their dazzling lights immediately drew the attention of all the youths. These treasures, inscribed on the myriad treasure stele, could be obtained immediately with golden light beads. There's also the teleportation array leading into the central area of the secret realm, which I'm opening now. With just 10,000 golden light beads, you can enter. As the spirit of the sacred artifact spoke again, a huge teleportation array with a diameter of several dozen meters appeared next to the myriad treasure stele. This array was the teleportation array leading from the outer area of the ancestral land secret realm to the central area. Passing through it, they could enter the second round of opportunity and seek great fortunes. Seeing the array appear, the top 10 who held the ancestral ground secret map all tightened their breaths. By entering this array, they could head to the locations marked by the ancestral ground secret map to seek fortunes exclusive to them. Not just the top 10, the other young men who didn't hold the ancestral ground secret map longed to enter the central area, to venture elsewhere. As long as they entered, opportunities could arise. On one side were the countless treasures of the myriad treasure stele, and on the other, the teleportation array leading to the even more mysterious central area of the ancestral land secret realm. The spirit of the sacred artifact laid out these two options, stirring the hearts of all the youths intensely. But as much as they were moved, many already knew that they had no chance to exchange for many treasures. Even more had already lost the chance to enter the central area, because they had not gathered enough golden light beads. In this first round of gathering golden light beads, they had not done well. Come, let's see the number of golden light beads you have. One by one, the spirit of the sacred artifact directed its gaze at one of the youths. State your name and bring out the golden light beads you've gathered. The youth who was first called upon by the spirit of the sacred artifact looked somewhat embarrassed. With a wry smile, he activated his ethereal spirit ring with a thumb, and a small pile of golden light beads appeared before him. Chapter 104. Artifact Spirit, my name is Qian Yu, and I have collected only 5,863 golden light beads. I would like to exchange them for one small spirit pill. Please. The youth spoke. Very well, said the spirit of the sacred artifact. And as the youth spoke, a fierce wind swirled around him. In the midst of this tumult, the ethereal spirit ring on the youth's hand flew up, and the small pile of golden light beads on the ground also levitated, finally all entering into the ring. Indeed, it is 5,863 golden light beads. Your performance is quite average. Here is your small spirit pill. The spirit of the sacred artifact confirmed, winding the youth's ethereal spirit ring back to him while a small box flew over to the youth. The youth caught the small box, opened it, and saw a milky white round pill inside, surrounded by a faint glow. This pill was none other than the small spirit pill, capable of enhancing the cultivation of a martial artist in the true Qi realm by one level. After inspecting the collection results of the first youth, Qian Yu, the spirit of the sacred artifact turned to the next youth. Next, continue. One by one, each youth released their collected golden light beads. As the golden light beads were continuously presented, all the youths realized that the spirit of the sacred artifact could apparently sense the approximate number of golden light beads they had collected. The first ones to be called were the ones who had collected the fewest. The ones called later had collected more and more golden light beads. When the ninth youth called by name brought out his golden light beads, the number he had collected finally broke through 10,000. When the 15th called by name, who was none other than Chen Yuan, ranked 10th in the Triclan competition, it turned out he had collected over 30,000 golden light beads. Qian Yuan directly exchanged for 2 sets of low-tier Shen-level martial arts techniques and spent 10,000 golden light beads for the opportunity to be transported to the central area of the ancestral land secret realm. When the 27th called by name, who was none other than Yi Shui, ranked 5th in the tri-clan competition, and Yi Chen's cousin, stepped forward. Her collection of golden light beads had shockingly surpassed 100,000. She had collected over 10,000 more golden light beads than Chen Feng, who had ranked 4th in the clan competition. At this point, the only ones not yet called were the top 3 from the clan competition: Yi Chen, Bai Xiaodai, and Chen Ming. Everyone was eager to find out how many golden light beads the last 3 had collected. So far, no one had collected over 200,000 golden light beads, and no one had managed to exchange for one of the 4 great treasures on the Myriad Treasures stele. Now, the 28th to be called was Chen Ming. When his name was called by the spirit of the sacred artifact, Chen Ming glanced at Yi Chen and Bai Xiaodai, knowing in his heart that he had lost to them once again in the collection of golden light beads. In the end, the number of golden light beads Chen Ming had collected reached an astounding 58,372. After Chen Ming exchanged his treasures, only Yi Chen and Bai Xiaodai remained to be called. Yi Chen and Bai Xiaodai, the 2 genuine young talents who entered the ancestral land's secret realm. Everyone else wanted to know who had collected more golden light beads between them. Little girl, it's your turn. Bring out the golden light beads you've collected. The spirit of the sacred artifact looked directly at Bai Xiaodai. Yi Chen, I really didn't collect as many golden light beads as you, Bai Xiaodai said with a light smile, and with a flick of her finger, a huge pile of golden light beads, like a small mountain, appeared before her. So many! Heaven! Must be over 1,000,000. Seeing the gigantic pile of golden light beads before Bai Xiaodai, even taller than a small mountain, all the youth's eyes widened. Just from this mountain of light, it was clear how incredible the number of golden light beads Bai Xiaodai had collected was. And when the spirit of the sacred artifact collected all the beads, everyone heard that Bai Xiaodai's count of golden light beads was an astonishing 2,070,000. 2,070,000. Such a massive quantity of golden light beads allowed Bai Xiaodai to exchange for 2 creation yuan pills, a superior grade spiritual weapon, 2 small spirit pills, as well as 1 transportation opportunity to the central region. Impressed by the number of golden light beads Bai Xiaodai had collected, the spirit of the sacred artifact exclaimed with rare praise. Not bad, the number of golden light beads you've collected has already surpassed those from the previous 5 times, including all your ancestors who have come here. This could rank 2nd in the 6 explorations of the ancestral land secret realm. After Bai Xiaodai also completed her exchange, the only youth left in the field who had not been called was Yi Chen. The spirit of the sacred artifact was calling names based on the order of the amount of golden light beads collected. Looking at it this way, it was obvious that Yi Chen had collected the most golden light beads among them all. That's why he was the last to be called by the spirit of the sacred artifact. The spirit of the sacred artifact said that Bai Xiaodai could rank 2nd in the 6 journeys into the ancestral land's secret realm, which clearly meant that the amount of golden light beads Yi Chen had collected had reached the top position among those 6 adventures. Bai Xiaodai has already collected 20,070,000 golden light beads. Yi Chen is even stronger than Bai Xiaodai. Just how many golden light beads did he manage to collect? Everyone's gaze turned towards Yi Chen. At that moment, rather than directly taking out his golden light beads, Yi Chen looked towards the spirit of the sacred artifact and asked, "Artifact spirit, I can give my golden light beads to others to use, right?" The spirit of the sacred artifact paused slightly, then gave Yi Chen a deep look and smiled. "Of course. After collecting the golden light beads, you are free to use them as you wish." Upon hearing Yi Chen's words, the other youths were stunned. They didn't have enough golden light beads for themselves, with many treasures left unclaimed. Was Yi Chen actually thinking of giving his golden light beads to others? Give golden light beads to whom? How many golden light beads? The youths were guessing when Yi Chen directly said, "Since that is the case, I will provide 10,000 golden light beads for every brother and sister of the 3 tribes who hasn't collected enough to make up 10,000. So they can exchange for a chance to enter the central region." What? Provide us with 10,000 golden light beads to exchange for an opportunity to enter the central region? When 8 youths in the field were downcast at not being able to enter the central region, Yi Chen's words immediately made them exclaim in surprise. Just as they were about to thank Yi Chen, he spoke again. Then, I will give each brother and sister an additional 100,000 golden light beads each, so they can exchange for the treasures they like. If Yi Chen's previous statement had only brought immeasurable joy to the 8 youths who had not collected enough golden light beads, this declaration of giving 100,000 golden light beads to each caused everyone to go wild. This meant that Yi Chen was about to give away 29 million golden light beads to them. Even Bai Xiaodai, who was in second place, had only collected 20,070,000 golden light beads. Was Yi Chen really going to give away 29 million golden light beads? Together with the 80,000 golden light beads, spent to exchange the opportunities to enter the central region for another 8 people. The number of golden light beads Yi Chen was giving away was as much as 29,080,000. Then how many golden light beads did Yi Chen keep for himself? Yi Chen, just how many golden light beads did you collect in total? Just as everyone was overwhelmed with shock and crazy about Yi Chen's generosity, Yi Chen finally said, apart from those mentioned myriad treasures steal, please help me calculate how many golden light beads I have left. I'll see what treasures I can exchange for. As Yi Chen finished speaking, his ethereal spirit ring on his thumb shone brightly, and suddenly, a tumultuous roar swept across like a tsunami. All the youths saw countless golden light beads pouring out from the ethereal spirit ring on Yi Chen's hand, piling up on a vast ground before them. The endless stream of golden light beads piled higher and wider, until at last, it looked like a massive mountain. All the youths in the field had their mouths agape, watching the rising tide of beads. This. At a rough glance, they could feel that the number of golden light beads Yi Chen had collected was surely more than 20 million. Chapter 105 Great Harvest. Yi Chen, you're too amazing. How did you manage to collect so many golden light beads? Looking at the mountainous pile of golden light beads, Bai Xiaodia's pretty face was filled with astonishment. She had guessed that Yi Chen would rank first in the trial of collecting golden light beads, but she never imagined that he could gather such an enormous number, over 20 million golden light beads, perhaps even reaching 30 million. The quantity had completely stunned Bai Xiaodai. It wasn't just Bai Xiaodai. None of the others had anticipated that Yi Chen could instantly raise the number of collected golden light beads to tens of millions. This was well beyond their imagination. Bai Xiaodai managed to collect over 2 million beads, surpassing the pioneers who had ventured into the ancestral land's secret realm during the previous 5 expeditions, which was already a miracle. Now, Yi Chen had collected 10 times more golden light beads than Bai Xiaodai. Even though Yi Chen had defeated Bai Xiaodai and was stronger than her, the gap shouldn't be this big. However, these youngsters were unaware that, although Bai Xiaodai, like Yi Chen, had also comprehended sword intents, which could be used to collect golden light beads. Aside from sword intents, Yi Chen possessed a unique sensitivity to his surroundings cultivated through the primordial star scripture. His divine sense could radiate hundreds of zhang, allowing him to effortlessly and instantly locate golden light beads within that range. Moreover, Yi Chen had mastered the profound tier movement technique, wind movement skills, significantly increasing his flight speed and the area over which he collected golden light beads. By relying on sword intents, Bai Xiaodai surpassed those predecessors who entered the ancestral land's secret realm before her. But Yi Chen, with sword intents, divine sense, and movement technique at his disposal, left Bai Xiaodai far behind. The performance of Bai Xiaodai in collecting golden light beads delighted the spirit of the sacred artifact with unexpected joy. However, Yi Chen's performance gave the spirit of the sacred artifact an even greater surprise. That's why, during these 10 days, the spirit of the sacred artifact focused entirely on Yi Chen. Even the spirit of the sacred artifact was left speechless by the quantity of golden light beads Yi Chen had collected. When Yi Chen took out all the golden light beads, his ethereal spirit ring flew directly towards the spirit of the sacred artifact. Let's see your final count of golden light beads. The voice of the spirit of the sacred artifact trembled with excitement. Left in this 3-tribe realm by Heavenly Saint Di Kong, besides continually providing trials and opportunities to the 3 tribes, it also bore a great responsibility. A responsibility that only a true genius could undertake. Now, in Yi Chen, it saw that hope. It was very likely that Yi Chen was the genius it was searching for, the one who could bear that great responsibility. Looking at Yi Chen and thinking about that newborn creature in the core area of the ancestral land, the spirit of the sacred artifact's breath grew somewhat quick. Could all this be preordained by fate? Just as that little one is born, a formidable young man directly enters our midst. I hope he can make it into the core area. I hope he can pass the ultimate challenge and meet the little one left behind by the old master. At that time, he will realize what truly amazing fate this secret realm holds. Whoosh! Suppressing a myriad of thoughts, after all, Yi Chen was still in the outer area, having not even entered the middle zone yet, and whether he could pass the subsequent trials remains unknown. It was too early to think so far ahead. First, let's see just how many golden light beads there are. With that in mind, the spirit of the sacred artifact directly swept up the ethereal spirit ring toward the mountainous pile of golden light beads collected by Yi Chen, beginning the collection process. Boom! The golden light beads in the gigantic pile, under the pull of the ethereal spirit ring, started to fly up one by one, rushing in like a torrential river, continuously entering the ring. After all the golden light beads had been tallied, the spirit of the sacred artifact announced an astonishing number. 28,397,632 golden light beads. Over 28 million golden light beads. The number spoken by the spirit of the sacred artifact left all the other youngsters from the three tribes dumbfounded. There really were over 20 million golden light beads. Yi Chen really had collected over 20 million golden light beads. On the myriad treasures stele, the number 1 treasure, Heavenly Saint Dekong's innate essence map, could be exchanged for a set with 10 million golden light beads. At the time, this number directly scared off the young contestants. Now it seems that the golden light beads Yi Chen collected are more than enough to exchange for 2 complete sets of the first treasure, with plenty to spare. More than 28 million golden light beads can exchange for all the precious treasures on the myriad treasures stele. No wonder Yi Chen said he had collected enough golden light beads earlier. This is indeed more than enough. Bai Xiaodai gazed at Yi Chen, her beautiful eyes shining brightly. Yi Chen had defeated her in the grand competition among the 3 clans, filling the young girl with immense admiration for Yi Chen. And now that Yi Chen had given away more than 2 million golden light beads to the young ones of the 3 clans, she thought even more highly of him. Now, the miracle Yi Chen had created with the number of golden light beads he collected had completely captivated the young girl. In a single moment, Bai Xiaodai even thought of her mother going to find Yi Chen's mother, and her little face turned crimson. Bai Xiaodai, who had always been diligently focused on her cultivation, had never felt such closeness to any young man, but when her mother suggested going to see Yi Chen's mother, she surprisingly didn't have any aversion to the idea. Now, she was even less inclined to resist. Unaware of Bai Xiaodai's girlish thoughts, Yi Chen smiled when he heard the spirit of the sacred artifact mention the number of golden light beads collected, thinking to himself, I didn't estimate wrong before. It seems I can select a few more treasures. At that moment, the spirit of the sacred artifact collected the ethereal spirit ring and looked towards Yi Chen again. Yi Chen, you said earlier you would give away 298 million golden light beads. Are you sure you want to give them away? The spirit of the sacred artifact asked Yi Chen for confirmation. Yi Chen looked at the young ones from the 3 clans who were watching him and smiled with a nod. Of course, I'll give them away. These were the young ones from the 3 clans who had entered the ancestral land secret realm with him, his clan brothers and sisters. Having collected so many golden light beads, Yi Chen certainly wouldn't stand by and watch any of them miss the opportunity to enter the central area of the ancestral land secret realm to seek their fortune. He wouldn't let them gaze at the treasures on the myriad treasures stele with regret and disappointment. Yi Chen couldn't forget the shame felt by the 3 old clan chiefs over the clan's gradual decline and their hope for the clan's rise to power. The young ones in the ancestral land secret realm were the future hope of the clan. Yi Chen would certainly help as much as he could. Giving each person 100,000 golden light beads was enough for them to exchange for a set of profound grade cultivation techniques or a high-quality spiritual artifact, and even many other treasures. Yi Chun had even planned in advance to exchange for some additional treasures beyond what he needed for himself, to be distributed to the 3 clan chiefs after leaving the ancestral land's secret realm. Hearing Yi Chun once again confirming that he would give away golden light beads to everyone, the young people from the 3 clans all felt a lump in their throats. They were both surprised and moved. Having a powerful prodigy in their clan felt so wonderful. This is the strength of the clan, the cohesion of the clan. Yi Chun, thank you. Even though 100,000 golden light beads were of little use to Bai Xiaodai, she still thanked Yi Chun solemnly. Yi Chun, thank you. Yi Chun, thank you. The other young ones also spoke out one after another. Watching this scene, the spirit of the sacred artifact also nodded silently. Yi Chun was so young yet so powerful and had such a noble heart, truly rare. Great! This time, your batch of people is really going to create a miracle in exchanging for treasures. When you all go out, the members of your clans will probably be overjoyed. The spirit of the sacred artifact said with a smile. The young ones from the 3 clans also smiled upon hearing the words of the spirit of the sacred artifact. They looked forward to leaving the ancestral land's secret realm with countless secret treasures and seeing the proud and joyous expressions of their clan relatives. The pride of the clan made all their efforts in the ancestral land's secret realm worthwhile. Come up one by one for the exchange. Yi Chun, after deducting those 298 million golden light beads, you still have 25,471,632 golden light beads left. What do you plan to exchange for? The spirit of the sacred artifact asked Yi Chun with a smile. More than 25 million left? Yi Chun nodded and then looked towards the myriad treasures stele, turned his gaze to the countless treasures listed upon it. Chapter 106. Ancient Furnace of Creation. Heavenly Saint Dekong's Innate Essence Map. Yi Chun's first glance was drawn to the myriad treasures stele's foremost treasure. I must exchange it, no doubt about it. Without even a moment's hesitation, Yi Chun decided to exchange for this precious item. This treasure, harboring the 18 powerful ambiances awakened by Heavenly Saint Dekong during his Spirit Sea Realm stage, was tremendously beneficial for Yi Chun's comprehension of ambiances and cultivation of sword intents. Naturally, he would not let such an opportunity slip away. Spending 10 million golden light beads to exchange for this item was absolutely worth it. Artifact Spirit, the first item I am exchanging for is this. The premier treasure of the myriad treasures stele. Heavenly Saint Dekong's Innate Essence Map. Yi Chun said to the spirit of the sacred artifact. After more than 1,000 years, someone from your 3 clans is finally able to exchange for this first treasure. With a sigh of emotion, the spirit of the sacred artifact smiled and nodded. Then, amid the swirling winds and clouds, an ancient scroll that was rolled up began to descend in front of Yi Chun. After the scroll landed in front of Yi Chun, it slowly unfurled towards him. Next, a blinding light completely enveloped Yi Chun. Amid the blinding glow, Yi Chun saw a miraculous golden monkey manifesting in the void, continuously practicing various moves, while voices conveying the methods of the mind resounded from it. Boom! 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 Merely listening to a few of these mental method voices and observing a few moves, Yi Chun's mind felt as though it was being bombarded by countless ambience thoughts, plunging it instantly into a sensation akin to an upheaval of the heavens and the earth. At that moment, the scroll slowly rolled up again, ultimately sealing shut and flying into Yi Chun's hands. It was only upon grasping the ancient scroll that Yi Chun revived from the bombardment of the numerous ambience thoughts. Noticing the youths around him did not exhibit the shocked expressions like his, Yi Chun instantly understood that the scroll had just demonstrated its powerful ambiances to him, while the others had not sensed them. The first treasure. Indeed, it's the first treasure. The strength of the ambience contained within surpasses even the wind-thunder ambience that Chen Jizi, the senior from Thousand Lotus Cave Abode, demonstrated, truly worthy of being the secret map containing 18 powerful ambiances. Just a fleeting glimpse was enough for Yi Chun to recognize the scroll's value in his hands. Yi Chun took a deep breath, clenching the scroll tightly, and then turned his gaze back to the myriad treasures stele. Having acquired the first treasure and spent 10 million golden light beads, he still had over 15 million golden light beads left, enough to exchange for many more treasures. Creation Yuan Pill. Yi Chen's gaze shifted to the second treasure of the myriad treasures stele. The Creation Yuan Pill can help those in the true Qi realm smoothly advance into the Spirit Sea, which I will need for my future entry into the Spirit Sea, so I must exchange for one. And for those in the later stages of the Spirit Sea realm aiming to break through to the rotating pill realm, possessing this pill will increase their chances by 70%, making it beneficial for those in the Spirit Sea realm as well. At this moment, Yi Chun thought of Zhang Yao. Zhang Yao was currently at the early stage of the Spirit Sea realm, and when she aimed to break through to the rotating pill realm in the future, the Creation Yuan Pill would be of great help to her, so Yi Chun naturally intended to exchange one for her as well. It's a pity that the Creation Yuan Pill must be taken by those in the true Qi realm before they reach the age of 30, otherwise, I would exchange one for each of the 3 clan patriarchs as well. It could help them all step into the Spirit Sea realm. The more Yi Chun thought about it, the more he realized the preciousness of the Creation Yuan Pill. Unfortunately, the 3 old clan leaders of the 3 major families were all over 60 years old and had exceeded the age limit for using the Creation Yuan Pill. This pill is of great use. Both Zhang Yao and I can use it, and maybe others will need it in the future. The more I can exchange, the better. With this in mind, Yi Chun turned to the spirit of the sacred artifact and asked, "Honorable artifact spirit, how many Creation Yuan Pills can I exchange for?" The exchange for each Creation Yuan Pill required 1 million golden light beads, and Yi Chun still had plenty of them. If there were no restrictions, he indeed could exchange for many pills. Each person can only exchange for 2 Creation Yuan Pills, one for your breakthrough into the Spirit Sea realm, and one for when you challenge the rotating pill realm. Of course, you can also give these pills to someone else. But in total, there are only 2 chances for exchange. The spirit of the sacred artifact replied. Not just for the Creation Yuan Pill, there are also limits on other treasures. The 3rd treasure on the myriad treasure stele, the life origin pill, each person can only exchange for 5, and the 4th treasure, the ethereal spirit ring, you can only exchange for 1. The spirit of the sacred artifact announced. Yi Chun nodded in understanding. Indeed, it was not possible to allow one person to exchange for too many, as these treasures were most likely left by Heavenly Saint Dekong. If one person took them all, what would be left for future openers of the ancestral lands? Naturally, there would be limits on the number of shares for each opening of the ancestral lands. Then exchange for 2 Creation Yuan Pills, Yi Chun declared. After the spirit of the sacred artifact passed the Creation Yuan Pills to Yi Chun, he continued with the exchange of other treasures. Next, Yi Chun exchanged for the maximum limit of 5 life origin pills and 1 ethereal spirit ring. After the young members of the other 3 clans picked some cultivation techniques and treasures using the 100,000 golden light beads Yi Chun provided, Yi Chun directly exchanged for all the remaining shares of treasures. In the end, apart from the 4 most precious treasures of the myriad treasure stele, Yi Chun exchanged for 3 high-grade spiritual weapons, 12 sets of superior, profound-grade cultivation techniques, 43 medium-grade spiritual weapons, 57 types of mid-level profound-grade cultivation techniques, 30 low-grade spiritual weapons, and 179 kinds of low-level profound-grade cultivation techniques. He also obtained 66 minor spiritual pills and 15 sets of complete profound instruments, along with profound-grade weapons and superior yellow-grade cultivation techniques. Yi Chun swept away all the treasures, and he hadn't even spent all his golden light beads yet. In the end, even the spirit of the sacred artifact could only helplessly shake its head and give a wry smile, packing the remaining treasures into the ethereal spirit ring and handing it over to Yi Chun. Although Yi Chun had exchanged for a countless number of treasures, apart from the 4 treasures from the myriad treasure stele and 1 or 2 weapons and cultivation techniques that had caught his interest, he did not plan to use the vast majority of them. Cultivation techniques and weapons were not about having more but about suitability. Yi Chun understood the principle that too much can be as bad as too little, and what suited one best was paramount. Yi Chen planned to hand over all the extra treasures he had selected to the 3 clan leaders. Once he left the ancestral land's secret realm for them to distribute to the clan members for use. The 3 clans, spread across Qingyang City and its subordinate towns, had hundreds of thousands of clan members, with thousands engaged in the martial arts. Although Yi Chen had exchanged many treasures, he still thought them insufficient for distribution among the clan members. Each opening of the ancestral lands had a limited number of treasures, and Yi Chen was helpless regarding this. However, with the batch of treasures exchanged by Yi Chen, it was undeniable that the strength of the 3 clans would leap forward significantly. After all, Yi Chen had exchanged so many cultivation techniques and weapons that they would suffice for the warriors of the 3 clans to cultivate and use for many years. When Yi Chen's treasure exchange was complete, the great opportunity in the outer area of the ancestral land's secret realm finally came to an end. The young warriors who had entered the ancestral land of the 3 clans, with their own efforts and the help of Yi Chen, had all made great gains. Smiles bloomed on everyone's faces. There were still chances unchallenged, but the gains they had now were already substantial. At this moment, the spirit of the sacred artifact's voice continued, "All right, the trial of this outer area has completely ended. I want to congratulate you, you have created a miracle. For the first time, all the treasures I offered have been exchanged completely." As it spoke, the spirit of the sacred artifact looked at Yi Chen and shook its head with a smile. Yi Chen and the other young warriors exchanged glances and then also showed smiles to the spirit of the sacred artifact. "Since you've all paid the 10,000 golden light beads to enter the middle region of the secret realm, next, you will all enter the ancestral land's middle region to undertake the second major trial and grand opportunity in the middle region." As the spirit of the sacred artifact spoke, Yi Chen, Bai Xiaodai, and everyone else looked toward the teleportation array beside the myriad treasures stele. What will the trial be in the middle region of the ancestral land? What grand opportunity and fortune will there be? Watching the huge teleportation array circle of several zhang in radius, everyone speculated. In the outer area of the ancestral land's secret realm, they had already attained so many gains. Thus, there was naturally even greater anticipation for the more mysterious middle region. At this time, the spirit of the sacred artifact said, "In the middle region of the ancestral land, there are 18 testing grounds. The top 10 among you, who have received the ancestral ground's secret map, will be teleported to their respective testing grounds depicted in the map once you enter the teleportation array. Those who did not obtain the ancestral ground's secret map will be randomly teleported to one of the remaining 8 testing grounds after entering the teleportation array. Now, enter the teleportation array and head to your respective testing grounds." Upon the spirit of the sacred artifact's instructions, all the young warriors headed towards the teleportation array. "Let's go." Towards the middle region of the ancestral land's secret realm. Some young warriors took the lead and walked into the teleportation array, after which they disappeared in a flash of light. "Yi Chen, we must all strive hard in the trials of the ancestral land's middle region," said Bai Xiaodai, approaching Yi Chen. Yi Chen smiled and nodded at Bai Xiaodai. Finally, Yi Chen, Bai Xiaodai, and all the others successively entered the teleportation array. With a flash of light, they arrived at their second testing ground. Boom! Within the flash of light, a young figure emerged from a teleportation array circle located in the deepest and most spacious area of the ancestral land's secret realm's middle region. This figure was Yi Chen, who had been teleported from the outer to the middle region of the ancestral land's secret realm. "This place, it is indeed the realm I saw when I first obtained the ancestral ground's secret map." Yi Chen exited the teleportation array and looked around the testing ground he had entered. Upon seeing the 18 giant golden monkey statues, each towering 30 meters high in the center of the Great Valley, Yi Chen couldn't help but exclaim aloud. The valley's appearance precisely matched the scene depicted in the secret map he had envisioned when he initially acquired the ancestral ground's secret map. At this time, not only had Yi Chen entered the realm indicated by his ancestral ground's secret map, Bai Shaodai had also arrived at a valley with 9 golden monkey statues. Qian Ming was teleported beneath a giant golden waterfall. 30 young warriors were scattered at various locations within the middle region of the secret realm. As all the young warriors were observing their surroundings, huge ancient furnaces started to rise within each realm. The vast furnaces were over 10 meters high and 7 to 8 meters wide, larger than many houses. The young warriors looked minuscule standing beneath the furnaces. These furnaces could fit hundreds of such young warriors inside. Such a huge furnace! Could this have something to do with the Middle Region's trial of the ancestral land secret realm? The young warriors were guessing when the voice of the spirit of the sacred artifact reached everyone's ears. Your second trial will take place within this ancient furnace of creation. Ancient furnace of creation? As Yi Chun looked at the suddenly risen giant ancient furnace, endless beams of gold light shot out from the eyes of the 18 golden monkey statues that stood in the valley of the same 18 monkey statues where he was located. All of this limitless golden light eventually concentrated into the giant ancient furnace that had just appeared. Whoosh! 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 Yi Chun could clearly hear sounds of water waves within the furnace. Could this be? As Yi Chun sent forth his divine consciousness into the furnace, he was immediately aware of golden spiritual liquid slowly materializing within. This occurred after the endless gold light shot from the 18 golden monkey statues entered the ancient furnace. In the end, the ancient furnace filled up with the golden spiritual liquid, and the light shooting from the golden monkey statues ceased. Their eyes once again returned to a state of calm. Chapter 107 Refine. 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 Not only in the region where Yi Chun was located did bizarre phenomena occur, but similar anomalies also manifested simultaneously in the regions where the other young warriors were situated. In the valley where Bai Shaodai was, with its 9 golden monkey statues, the statue's eyes likewise burst out with light, and the ancient furnace of creation in her valley also filled up with golden spiritual liquid. However, the color of the golden spiritual liquid in her ancient furnace of creation was much paler compared to that in the ancient furnace of creation in the valley where Yi Chun was. Where Qian Ming was, numerous golden droplets also flew directly out of the immense waterfall and entered the ancient furnace that rose up in his region. Yi Chen's cousin, Yi Shui, in the dense jungle, had countless green streams flow directly into the giant ancient furnace before her, even filling it with green spiritual liquid. In the end, in the midst of the ancestral land's secret realm, all 18 regions and the 18 ancient furnaces that had ascended were filled with various kinds of spiritual liquid. This odd phenomenon led all the young warriors from the 3 clans to start guessing how the ancient furnace of creation trial would proceed. At this moment, the enormous visage of the spirit of the sacred artifact appeared above each region, looking at the young warriors from the 3 clans and slowly said, "The ethereal spirit holy temple, which you call the ancestral land's secret realm, is the grand opportunity left to your 3 clans by my old master, Heavenly Saint Dekong. Outside the secret realm, you passed the collecting golden light beads trial and exchanged them for countless treasures. Those treasures are external objects, which you can use for yourselves or give to others, but to benefit from them, there is a process of cultivation and use. Here in the middle region of the secret realm, the ancient furnace of creation trial you are about to face is not as simple as the golden light beads trial. The opportunities you may receive are not external treasures like the secret treasures. In this ancient furnace of creation trial, the trial and the opportunity come together. If you can pass it, it will directly enhance your body's potential and raise your life level. Enhance the body's potential? Raise the life level? The young warriors didn't quite understand what the spirit of the sacred artifact was saying. The spirit of the sacred artifact seemed to see through the young warriors' confusion and continued. The ancient furnace of creation is a special treasure of the Jindi ancient clan, the ancient clan of my old master, Heavenly Saint Dekong, which every member of the clan entered when they were young. The ancient furnace of creation holds a great transformative power. Combined with the creation spiritual liquid, anyone who enters will undergo a transformation through the washing of the spiritual liquid and the smelting of the ancient furnace. This transformation uplifts one's potential from the body and raises one's life level from within. Each entrant can only experience this transformative creation once in their life. Once the transformation is complete, it will bring unimaginably great benefits to one's future cultivation and combat. The ancient furnace of creation has 5 levels of trials, 5 levels of transformation. The first level is to refine the flesh, a transformation of flesh and skin. The second is to refine the meridians, a meridian transformation. The third is to refine the acupoints, an acupoint transformation. The fourth is to refine the bones, a bone transformation. The fifth is marrow refining and blood replacement, the descent of divine blood. The washing of the spiritual liquid and the smelting of the ancient furnace are extremely painful. If one cannot endure and faints, they will be expelled from the ancient furnace and will not be able to continue with further smelting and transformation. The trials and opportunities in this middle region all lie within the ancient furnace of creation. If you can complete 3 transformations, not only will you gain a great enhancement in bodily potential and life level, but you will also be able to directly enter the core area of the ancestral land, to face the 3rd trial and seek the 3rd opportunity. As for the 4th and 5th levels of transformation, given your condition, it's nearly impossible to complete them. Even in the ancient clan of my old master, where the tribe members are naturally stronger than you, it is rare for anyone to finish the 4th level of transformation, and as for the 5th level, anyone who completed it, as long as they did not fall, later stepped into the heavenly saint realm, becoming a power of the heavenly saint realm. The words of the spirit of the sacred artifact made all the young warriors look toward the gigantic ancient furnace of creation before them. So it turns out that the ancient furnace of creation is the very ground of the grand trial, the land of great opportunities. Having completed the 5 layers of transformation, as long as one does not perish, they all eventually step into the heavenly saint realm. This highlights the miraculous nature of the furnace of creation. Refining the flesh, refining the meridians, refining the acupoints. One must pass through these 3 layers of refinement and complete 3 layers of transformation to enter the core area of the ancestral land's secret realm. The words of the spirit of the sacred artifact let the youths know that passing through 5 layers of refinement seemed utterly impossible. They were only considering whether they could pass the first 3 layers of refinement, complete the first 3 layers of transformation, and just make it into the core area of the ancestral land's secret realm. At this moment, the spirit of the sacred artifact looked at the youths and continued, "All of your ancient furnaces of creation are the same, but your creation's spiritual liquids are different. The more precious the area you are in, the more valuable the creation's spiritual liquid will be, and the better the effect on your transformation afterwards. Yi-chun is in the first creation spiritual liquid area, Bai Shaodai is in the second creation spiritual liquid area, and the top 10 who hold the ancestral ground secret map have decent creation spiritual liquids. As for the others, their creation spiritual liquids are relatively ordinary. However, the more precious the creation spiritual liquid, the greater the corresponding pain of refinement. None of your forebears in the first 5 openings of the ancestral land were able to pass through 3 layers of refinement and had the qualification to step into the core area of the ancestral land. Those in the top 10, especially those who entered the first and second creation spiritual liquid areas in previous attempts, didn't even complete 2 layers of refinement, and in the end, their gains were about the same as those who completed 2 layers of ordinary creation spiritual liquid refinement. Therefore, the size of the opportunity matches the difficulty of the trials. How much fortune you can obtain depends on your own abilities. When the youths scattered across the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm heard that Yi-chen's creation spiritual liquid was the most precious, and that the effects after transformation would be the best, they were all filled with envy. But when they heard that he would also face the greatest pain of refinement and that none of the ancestors from the first 5 openings of the ancestral land could even pass 2 layers of refinement, they began to feel sympathy for Yi-chun. At this moment, Yi-chun, looking at the huge ancient furnace before him, and at the 18 golden monkey statues bursting with the light of spiritual liquid, was utterly calm in his heart and mind. No matter the difficulty, he was determined to give his all. Whether he could enter the core area of the ancestral land and what he could gain would be seen in the end. All right, Commence the second trial and embrace this second opportunity. Ancient furnace of creation, absorb. As the voice of the spirit of the sacred artifact resonated, the 18 ancient furnaces of creation emitted an earth-shattering glow, which enveloped all the youths within it. Puff, puff. In the end, all the youths were drawn into the ancient furnaces of creation, falling directly into the interiors, completely submerged by the creation's spiritual liquid within the furnaces. Yi Chun, Bai Shaodai, and the 10 strong who obtained the Ancestral Ground's secret map, each entered their respective ancient furnaces, while the other 20 people, some in groups of 3 and others in pairs, were also submerged by the spiritual liquid of the furnaces. After all the youths were submerged by the creation's spiritual liquid inside the ancient furnaces, the 18 ancient furnaces of creation emitted a thunderous roar. Within this thunderous roar, countless mystical patterns inside and outside of the ancient furnaces burst forth with light, which infused into the creation's spiritual liquid. At the same time, the creation's spiritual liquid inside the 18 ancient furnaces boiled violently like water, emitting the sounds of puff, puff, puff from the process of refinement. Refine, refine, refine. This was unequivocally the beginning of the spiritual liquid cleansing of the youths by all the ancient furnaces of creation, the start of their refinement by the ancient furnaces. All the youths had entered the first layer of transformation, refining the flesh. Chapter 108, Golden Spiritual Patterns. Thud. After Yi Chun was sucked into the gigantic ancient furnace of creation, hundreds of times larger than himself, he fell straight to the bottom of the furnace. In an instant, the golden creation spiritual liquid within the ancient furnace completely submerged him. Gurgle, gurgle. During the fall to the bottom of the ancient furnace, Yi Chun even unconsciously swallowed several mouthfuls of creation's spiritual liquid. No sooner had the creation's spiritual liquid entered his body than it transformed into strands of golden dawn light, which then shot out from within him. Completely engulfed by the countless creation's spiritual liquid, all Yi Chun could see were dazzling golden lights, and immersed in the spiritual liquid, he felt as though every pore was breathing. This sensation had barely lasted a moment when the ancient furnace of creation emitted a heaven-shaking bellow. Subsequently, Yi Chun felt an endless barrage of light shooting toward him, and an incessant surge of golden spiritual liquid rushing at him. In an instant, Yi Chun understood that the first test of the ancient furnace of creation, tempering flesh, had begun, because every piece of skin and every muscle in his body was being infused with grains of golden creation's spiritual liquid, followed by a tearing and crushing sensation that swept over him, bringing with it an extreme pain that assaulted Yi Chun's entire soul in a flash. That tearing feeling, it was as if each piece of flesh was being ripped apart by an unimaginably powerful force. That crushing feeling, it was as if the cells within every piece of flesh were being thoroughly obliterated. Amid this tearing and crushing, an intensely scorching power was forging every piece of Yi Chun's torn flesh and every pulverized cell. This was the purification by the spiritual liquid. This was the tempering by the ancient furnace. Yi Chun had experienced this agonizing sensation before, back in the Thousand Lotus Cave abode when he was nurturing the fire lotus law pattern and was burned by myriad fires. It was the same feeling. Yi Chun, once again experiencing this unbearable pain, bore through the pain that pierced straight into his spirit sea. Having endured the scorching by myriad fires and undergone a transformation of will, Yi Chun withstood the agony of this first level of tempering, and was beginning the first layer of transformation within the bubbling creation's spiritual liquid. Meanwhile, in 3 other ancient furnaces of creation, there were 3 youths who simply couldn't endure the moment the first test of tempering flesh had just begun. Amid the sensation of their skin and flesh being torn to shreds and pulverized, these 3 youths let out piercing screams of pain as they tumbled and wailed in the rolling creation's spiritual liquid, their bodies convulsing and twitching violently. It hurts. It's too painful. These 3 youths, who had never experienced such torment, saw their willpower collapse instantly under this hammering pain. In the end, completely unable to withstand the pain, the 3 youths were knocked unconscious by the tumultuous creation's spiritual liquid. Boom! The instant they lost consciousness, The three youths were swept out of the ancient furnace of creation by a beam of light and eventually floated down to the ground. Only when they landed on the ground and a cool sensation washed over them did the three youths wake up from their stupor. Although the pain had subsided, their faces were ashen and their bodies still trembled uncontrollably. They had never imagined that the challenge of the ancient furnace of creation in the central region of the ancestral land would be so agonizing, so terrifying. Just the thought of that pain made them shudder. The first layer of tempering flesh incomplete, the challenge of the ancient furnace of creation, failed. Your trial in the ancestral land's secret realm has officially ended. Return to the peripheral area of the ancestral land and cultivate there. Wait until the day the exit of the secret realm opens, and then leave on your own. As the deep voice of the spirit of the sacred artifact echoed, the three youths who were thrown out of the ancient furnaces of creation were swept toward a teleportation matrix by a force. Then, amidst the shimmering light, they were directly teleported back to the green flow plains within the peripheral area of the ancestral land's secret realm. Eliminated. These youths were eliminated just as the second round of testing had begun. Standing once more upon the green flow plains, the myriad treasure steel had vanished, and the teleportation rings had disappeared as well. Only the clusters of green flow creeper and the golden light beads still radiated an inexplicable brilliance, and dense globules of heaven and earth true chi continued to drift through the realm between heaven and earth in the green flow plains. We've failed. We've failed. There are no more opportunities for us to obtain on this journey to the ancestral land's secret realm. The three teenagers standing on the green flow plains looked at each other, their eyes filled with disappointment. Fortunately, with Yi Chen's help in the first round of the trial, we obtained quite a few treasures. Although we can't continue deeper into the ancestral land's secret realm, this peripheral area is also rich in heaven and earth true chi, which is extremely suitable for cultivation. There are still more than 20 days left. Let's cultivate here. After a while, the teenagers sighed and consoled themselves. They then sat down cross-legged and began cultivating on the green flow plains, waiting for the day when the exploration of the ancestral land's secret realm would end. A short while after these three teenagers were eliminated from the challenge of the ancient furnace of creation, another 5 teenagers were transported out from the central region of the ancestral land. These were teenagers who had not successfully passed the first layer's tempering flesh trial. Although they had lasted a bit longer than the first 3, they too had failed and were out. After 8 individuals had been eliminated, the next half hour saw another 8 being continuously transported out. Then, the continuous elimination finally stopped. By this time, 16 teenagers had arrived on the green flow plains. 16 of them had been eliminated without completing the first layer's tempering flesh trial. This number accounted for more than half of the 30 teenagers who had entered the ancestral land's secret realm. This revealed just how difficult the trial of the ancient furnace of creation was. Just the first layer's tempering flesh trial had eliminated more than half of the participants. No wonder it was said that in the first 5 openings of the ancestral land, out of the 150 members of the 3 tribes who entered, no one could pass the trial of the ancient furnace of creation and enter the core area of the ancestral land's secret realm. The difficulty of this trial was indeed immense. Given this elimination rate, it was hard to imagine who could endure the 3 layers of pain: tempering flesh, tempering meridians, and tempering acupoints. After waiting another half of the day and seeing no one else being transported to the green flow plains, the 16 teenagers who had been transported there finally realized that perhaps the remaining 14 had withstood the terrible pain of the first layer, tempering flesh. Yi Chen, Bai Xiaodai, Qian Ming. They are all still in the ancient furnace of creation, not eliminated. Could it be they all completed the first layer's transformation of flesh? How much longer can they hold on? The eliminated teenagers all looked in the direction of the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm, speculating in their hearts. They were not wrong. After enduring a half-day's washing and tempering by the spiritual liquid in the ancient furnace of creation, the surviving 14 teenagers had entered into a bizarre state. The deepest and most expansive area of the central region of the ancestral land, which was the area of the 18 golden monkey statues where Yi Chen was, within the ancient furnace of creation. Yi Chen, who had withstood the terrible pain of the ancient furnace's tempering, was now using his divine sense to survey the entire situation of the ancient furnace of creation and to examine the changes in his flesh. At that moment, Yi Chun saw that deep within the flesh where the tearing sensation came from, there were faint golden patterns slowly appearing, and in the cells where the crushing sensation arose, there was golden light sparkling. These golden patterns and lights were slowly surfacing all over his body before slowly disappearing into the depths of his flesh. Boom! At last, golden patterns appeared in the depths of all the flesh, and these golden patterns were connected into a whole. When all the golden patterns connected into a large piece, the depths of Yi Chen's skin transformed these connected golden patterns into countless golden spiritual patterns. These golden spiritual patterns were exceedingly fine, shaped like golden monkeys, and there were as many as 10,000 of them. Countless golden monkey spiritual patterns, hidden deep within the flesh, were truly magical. Just as these golden monkey spiritual patterns formed, in the valley where Yi Chun was, the eyes of the 18 golden monkey statues once again burst into light, infusing the furnace of creation with endless golden radiance. In an instant, the entire ancient furnace of creation vibrated thunderously, and the spiritual liquid tumbled fiercely. And as for the 10,000 golden monkey spiritual patterns deep in Yi Chen's flesh, amid the roaring blaze of the ancient furnace of creation and the wild tumult of the creation spiritual liquid, they howled towards the meridians all around Yi Chen's body. This was undoubtedly the commencement of the second layer of the 5-layer trial of the ancient furnace of creation. Tempering meridians. Chapter 109. The 4th layer. Yi Chun finally passed the tempering flesh trial and officially entered the 2nd layer of trials. In the void, seeing that the 18 golden monkey statues in the valley where Yi Chun was located shot out light from their eyes again, the spirit of the sacred artifact nodded. Not bad. This young man Yi Chun is indeed formidable. The creation spiritual liquid used to temper him is incredibly precious. Only the most highly regarded talents in the Jindi ancient clan are allowed to use it. This kind of creation spiritual liquid produces pain that surpasses the total pain of all other spiritual liquids combined. Yet, he managed to cross it with such ease. The others are still in the midst of the final flesh transformation, not yet having completely passed the 1st layer of trials, while Yi Chun has already taken the lead entering the 2nd layer of trials. The spirit of the sacred artifact's gaze swept over the other realms in the central area of the ancestral land, where the 13 other youths still engaged in the meridian transformation state of the 1st layer of trials in the furnaces of creation. It was only after half an incense stick's worth of time had passed that Bai Shaodai followed after Yi Chun, becoming the second to step into the new trial of tempering meridians. Much later, the other youths finally completed the 1st layer's flesh transformation. However, when the spirit of the sacred artifact looked towards Yi Chun once more, it was shocked to discover that, just after the remaining youths had all entered the 2nd layer tempering meridians, Yi Chun, who was the first to experience the 2nd layer, had already triggered the 3rd burst of light from the 18 golden monkey statues' eyes. He had already entered the 3rd layer of trials. So fast! How can one pass through the 2nd layer of trials and complete the meridian transformation so quickly? The speed at which young Yi Chun passed the 1st layer was already unbelievable, but the time it took him to pass the 2nd layer is even shorter than the 1st. The spirit of the sacred artifact's mouth hung open, almost unable to believe it. What the spirit of the sacred artifact didn't know was that Yi Chun had gone through the trial of 10,000 flames burning body in the 1,000 Lotus Cave abode, had experienced the boundless pain of his mind and spirit being scorched by those flames, and his artistic conception strength had been tempered to an incredibly formidable level. Because of that, he was the first to pass the trial of tempering flesh faster than anyone else. Upon entering the 2nd layer of the tempering meridians trial, Yi Chun immediately felt countless golden monkey spirit patterns rushing towards the meridians all over his body. They were evidently going to temper his 8 extraordinary meridians. To unblock them, meridians are even more fragile than flesh and are directly connected to the mind and spirit. Tempering meridians is 100 times more painful than tempering flesh. Especially when tempering those blocked meridians, that pain becomes even more terrifying. But what no one else knew was that Yi Chun had practiced the primordial star scripture's meridian refining art, making his meridians unlike any others. Where other people only had their chi meridian unblocked, and all other meridians blocked, therefore making the tempering of the 8 extraordinary meridians excruciatingly painful and extremely difficult. Yi Chun had not just his chi meridian open, but his 8 extraordinary meridians were already unblocked. Even all 33 circuits of his meridian wheel had been thoroughly unblocked during his practice of the meridian refining art, so the tempering meridians had no difficulty for him. Tempering meridians had some similarities with the refinement techniques of the primordial star scriptures, meridian refining art. However, merely the tempering of the 8 extraordinary meridians in this second layer of the trial in the ancient furnace of creation was clearly not as precious as the primordial star scriptures meridian refining art, which refined the chi meridian, the 8 extraordinary meridians, and the 33 circuits. Yi Chun had fully completed even the meridian refining art, so naturally, the tempering of meridians posed no difficulty for him. Even as the golden monkey spirit patterns roared and surged into his whole body's meridians, entering the 8 extraordinary meridians smoothly, they flew into Yi Chun's 33 circuits effortlessly, eventually creating a perfect Great Zhou heavenly cycle throughout his entire body's meridians. In the end, they mixed with the heaven and earth true qi and gang yuan true qi gushing out from Yi Chun's qi si, all rushing towards his qi si acupoint, directly propelling Yi Chun into the 3rd layer trial of tempering acupoints. Tempering flesh allows the flesh to undergo a transformation of strength, even capable of bursting forth with the ancient power of the golden monkey. Tempering meridians unblocks the extraordinary meridians throughout the body, greatly enhancing the speed of true qi cultivation, and tempering acupoints expands the area of the qi si acupoints, reshaping the qi si space. Yi Chun has now so quickly entered the 3rd layer's trial of tempering acupoints into the transformation that reshapes the qi si space. This speed is not a bit weaker than the unparalleled talents of the Jindi ancient clan. To think that the Jindi ancient clan are people of an ancient clan, naturally stronger than ordinary humans like Yi Chun, it's truly unbelievable that this young man can match up to the genius members of an ancient clan. As the spirit of the sacred artifact beheld Yi Chun entering the 3rd ancient furnace of creation trial amidst the frantic rumbling and turbulent creation's spiritual liquid, its enormous face was filled with shock. Collecting golden light beads, Yi Chun created a miracle. With this furnace of creation trial, could he also create a miracle? He's still the champion of the 3-clan grand competition, holding the ancestral blood. Could it be that he really has a chance to touch the ultimate reward, the ultimate fortune? As the spirit of the sacred artifact watched Yi Chun, completely submerged in the creation spiritual liquid and fully engaged in the 3rd layer trial of tempering acupoints, its eyes were filled with anticipation. While it watched Yi Chun, from another 3 valleys, agonizing screams of pain echoed, and then 6 youths were flung out of the ancient furnace of creation. Chapter 110. These 6 young men, with eyes tightly shut, had completely passed out, evidently failing the tempering meridian's trial of the 2nd layer. Although they had endured the trial of the 1st layer, they still fell at the 2nd layer's challenge. Boom! Only when they hit the ground, awakened by the cool essence of the great earth within the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm, did the youths stand up again. Then, just like the 16 youths who had failed the 1st layer's challenge, they were transported out of the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm and returned to the green flow plains in the outer region of the secret realm. When these 6 youths arrived at the green flow plains, the enormous sound of teleportation awoke the 16 who had been eliminated first from their cultivation. All the youths gathered around the 16 who had just been eliminated. By Xiaofei, you've been eliminated too. Qian Feng, you're ranked 5th among the top 10, yet you also fell in this test. Seeing among the 6 eliminated youths even 2 who were in the top 10, everyone was shocked. This clearly indicated that another wave of elimination was about to come. Qianfeng, did you 6 pass the 1st layer's challenge? Suppressing the astonishment in their hearts, the first 16 youths eliminated asked Qianfeng and his group. We did. I passed too. The 6 youths responded in turn. Though they had been eliminated from contention for the greater fortune and opportunity below, unavoidably filled with disappointment, Qian Feng, Bai Xiaofei, and the other 4 youths quickly adjusted their mentality. After all, they hadn't left the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm empty-handed. They had successfully passed the tempering flesh trial of the first layer and had earned the chance for flesh transformation. You all passed the tempering flesh trial. The artifact spirit had said that completing one trial would grant one opportunity. You now all received the chance for flesh transformation. How does it feel different from before? The 16 youths who hadn't completed flesh transformation asked curiously. They wanted to know what the opportunity from the second trial was like. Flesh transformation? After completing this transformation, I feel full of strength all over. Just with the power of my body alone, I could probably match the strength of my true qi from before. A young man at the 7th level of true qi said. As he spoke, he clenched his fist and smashed it into the ground. With a boom echoing, his punch cracked the earth open with a terrifying fissure several zhang long. Heavens! That was without using true qi, purely physical strength? Many people couldn't believe it. Flesh transformation could actually enhance their physical strength to such a degree. At this time, Qian Feng, the strongest among the 6 who had completed flesh transformation, also nodded and said, "Indeed, after flesh transformation, my physical strength has greatly increased. Now, relying on my physical strength and true qi, I'm confident that I can challenge a true qi 11th level powerhouse." Qian Feng was at the 10th level of true qi. Before, he would never have had the confidence to say he could challenge an 11th level powerhouse. But now, after undergoing flesh transformation, he possessed this confidence. Flesh transformation is indeed miraculous. At last, all 6 youths who had completed flesh transformation confirmed the power of the opportunity they had gained from the ancient furnace of creation. The 16 youths who had been eliminated first finally realized what a great opportunity they had lost by not finishing the first layer's trial. If only they had known that the flesh transformation involved the ancient power of the golden monkey from the Jindi ancient clan inheritance, they would have surely gritted their teeth and struggled through the first layer's trial, with such great gains from completing the first layer's tempering flesh trial. I really don't know what kind of mystical opportunity will come from completing the second layer of tempering meridian's trial. Qian Feng muttered to himself as he looked at the central area of the ancestral land's secret realm. He had already lost the chance to receive the opportunity of the second layer and could only sigh in vain. Not long after Qian Feng's sigh faded away, following their elimination from the second layer of the trial, another 6 young men were consecutively transported out of the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm. Among these youths was even Chen Ming, ranked 3rd in the Jindi ancient clan's great competition and a strong practitioner of true qi at the 11th level. Chen Ming, you've been eliminated too. Did you complete the second layer's meridian transformation? Upon seeing Chen Ming's figure, the young men on the green flow plains couldn't help but exclaim. When they saw Qian Ming and the other 5 youths shake their heads in utter disappointment, indicating they hadn't completed the second layer's meridian transformation trial, all the youths fell silent. This meant that all the youths present had failed in front of the first 2 levels of the trial set by the ancient furnace of creation. No wonder the artifact spirit said that in the last 5 openings of the ancestral land, no one has been able to pass the first 3 layers of trials set by the ancient furnace of creation. This trial is indeed too difficult. Out of us, this 6th batch of 30 people, 28 have already been eliminated. The first layer of the trial had eliminated 16 people, and then the second layer went on to eliminate 12 more, bringing the total number of youths eliminated to a staggering 28. Out of 30 youths, only 2 had not been eliminated. Who is still in the central area of the ancestral land's secret realm? Which 2 haven't been eliminated? On the green flow plains, the 28 youths looked at each other, and in an instant they came to a realization. It's the strongest 2 among us. Yi Chun, Bai Xiaodai. Both of them have not been teleported out yet. They are still in the central area of the ancestral land's secret realm. Just as the youths realized that the only 2 remaining in the trial were Yi Chun and Bai Xiaodai, In the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm, within the valley of the 9 golden monkey statues where Bai Shaodai was, a girl's figure was thrown out of the ancient furnace of creation. Alas, this girl has great potential. It's a pity she's a girl, unable to withstand the pain of the Qi-Si acupoint collapse and reshaping during the tempering acupoints by the ancient furnace of creation. She ends up like her predecessors, defeated by this third-level trial. She also has missed out on the third chance to reach the core area of the ancestral land's secret realm. The spirit of the sacred artifact sighed in the void, while the thrown out Bai Shaodai slowly came to her senses. I've been eliminated too? Bai Shaodia's elegant eyebrows furrowed, her face filled with a look of disappointment. Following the 28 people eliminated on the green flow plains, Bai Shaodai became the 29th person to be eliminated. Go out, girl. Your journey through the ancestral land's secret realm also ends here. The spirit of the sacred artifact said to Bai Shaodai. It was about to transport Bai Shaodai out of the central region of the ancestral land, just like the other young men, when suddenly, Bai Shaodia's beautiful eyes turned towards the spirit of the sacred artifact. Artifact spirit, may I ask if Yi Chun is still undergoing the trial? The spirit of the sacred artifact nodded. Yes, Yi Chun is still in the midst of the trial. Out of you 30 people, including you, 29 have been eliminated. Only Yi Chun remains in the trial. He has now reached the 4th level of the trial. Chapter 111. Guidance of Ancestral Blood. The words of the spirit of the sacred artifact caused Bai Shaodia's expression to change repeatedly. When she heard the spirit of the sacred artifact say Yi Chun was still in the midst of the trial, Bai Shaodai felt relieved, for she had always known that Yi Chun was stronger than her and would certainly not be eliminated so early. Indeed, Yi Chun was still as formidable as ever, not disappointing anyone. But when the spirit of the sacred artifact mentioned that out of the 30 youths, 29 had been eliminated, Bai Shaodia's heart suddenly turned cold. She had not expected that not only her, but all the remaining youths from the clans had failed to withstand the tempering by the ancient furnace of creation and had fallen on the road leading to the core area of the ancestral land's secret realm. Thank goodness there's still Yi Chun. There's still hope for Yi Chun. In the 5 previous openings of the ancestral land, the seniors from the 3 clans who had entered all fell outside the core area of the ancestral land's secret realm. Bai Shaodai was extremely hopeful that Yi Chun could work a miracle, becoming the first person from the 3 clans to step into the core area of the ancestral land's secret realm. Just as Bai Shaodai was filled with immense hope, the spirit of the sacred artifact's last sentence, that Yi Chun had reached the 4th layer of the trial, immediately made her heart race. What, Yi Chun has reached the 4th layer of the trial? Yi Chun has already passed the first 3 layers of the trial? Bai Shaodai remembered very clearly that the spirit of the sacred artifact had said, as long as one could pass the tempering flesh, tempering meridians, and tempering acupoints, these first 3 layers of the trial, one would be able to step into the core area of the ancestral land and seek the 3rd major opportunity. Now, with Yi Chun entering the 4th layer of the trial, it meant that regardless of whether he could pass the 4th layer or not, he had already qualified to enter the core area of the ancestral land. Yi Chun had become the first person among the 3 clans to qualify to step into the core area of the ancestral land. The hope that Bai Shaodai had harbored had already been realized by Yi Chun. Yes, Yi Chun is now undergoing the 4th layer, the Tempering Bones trial. If he cannot pass the 4th layer of the trial, he still meets the qualifications to enter the core area of the ancestral land's secret realm and face the 3rd major challenge for the opportunity. The firm assurance of the spirit of the sacred artifact caused Bai Shaodia's heart to race once more. Even if everyone else had been eliminated, as long as one person stepped into the core region of the ancestral land, their group could be considered a success. This group of youths had gone further than the seniors who entered during the previous 5 openings. Yi Chun, you are incredible. I hope you can go even further. In the midst of her racing heart, Bai Shaodai was directly transported by the spirit of the sacred artifact out of the middle region of the ancestral land's secret realm and into the green flow plains on the outskirts of the ancestral land. On the green flow plains, 28 youths were gathered together, guessing at which stage Yi Chun and Bai Xiaodai had reached by now. Suddenly, they heard a thunderous teleportation sound behind them. When they turned around and saw Bai Xiaodia's figure, all the youths stood up abruptly. Bai Xiaodai! Heavens! Has she been eliminated too? All the youths rushed towards Bai Xiaodai. Seeing the approaching youths, Bai Xiaodai smiled and shook her head. I've been eliminated too. I didn't pass the tempering acupoints test and fell at the third layer of the trial. Eliminated. Bai Xiaodai had really been eliminated as well. Upon hearing Bai Xiaodia's words, the youths all felt disheartened. They had not anticipated that even the tremendously skilled Bai Xiaodai would fail to work any miracles. However, upon hearing that Bai Xiaodai had fallen at the third layer of the trial, the youths all realized that this meant she had passed the first 2 layers of the trial. Had she completed the flesh transformation and meridian transformation? Among the 28 individuals, 16 gained nothing, 12 obtained the opportunity for flesh transformation, and not a single one managed to encounter the meridian transformation opportunity of the second layer. From the 12 who underwent flesh transformation, the youths had come to understand its miraculous effect in significantly enhancing their physical strength. They were speculating about what marvels the next layer's meridian transformation might bring. Now, Bai Xiaodai, who had completed meridian transformation, stood right before them, naturally arousing their curiosity. Bai Xiaodai, did you complete meridian transformation? What is the opportunity for meridian transformation, and what's so miraculous about it? The youths bombarded Bai Xiaodai with their questions all at once. Bai Xiaodai closed her eyes gently, and after a couple of breaths, she opened them again. Looking at the curiously gazing youths with some uncertainty, she said, Meridian transformation is a peculiar process of refining the meridians. I feel as though my sensitivity to true qi has greatly increased. It's as if cultivating true qi has become much easier for me. With that thought in mind, Bai Xiaodai immediately sat down cross-legged and started to operate her true qi technique. As she did so, the 8 extraordinary meridians in her body suddenly opened wide. Instantly, Bai Xiaodai realized that the dense true qi of the green flow planes was rushing into her body in reverse, and a vast amount of true qi flowed from her extraordinary meridians into her qi sea. This rate of cultivation was more than 10 times faster than her original speed. Even without considering the inherently dense true qi of the green flow planes, Bai Xiaodia's cultivation speed, having undergone meridian transformation, had increased by an additional 5 to 6 times. Sensing the extraordinary changes in her body, Bai Xiaodai stopped cultivating, leaped to her feet, and her pretty face was filled with excitement. A great opportunity. Indeed, it's a great opportunity. With this meridian transformation, my cultivation speed has increased by 5 to 6 times. Bai Xiaodia's words stunned the other youths. Chapter 112. Cultivation speed increased by 5 to 6 times. Bai Xiaodai was a strong cultivator of the 11th layer of true qi, and her cultivation speed was already incredibly fast. Yet, it could still be increased by 5 to 6 times. The tempering of flesh transformation could enhance vitality, but this marrow transformation was even more precious, directly increasing the speed of true qi cultivation. Indeed, as the artifact spirit had said, the trials of the ancient furnace of creation were greatly beneficial for cultivation and combat. Just completing these first 2 layers of transformation yielded such miraculous effects. Tempering of flesh transformation, marrow transformation, acupoint transformation. The first 2 layers, one enhances vitality and the other increases the speed of true qi cultivation. I really wonder what kind of miracle will happen after completing the 3rd layer's acupoint transformation. After being shocked for a while, many of the youngsters began to exclaim. At this moment, Bai Xiaodai said with a smile, Just wait until Yi Chun comes out and ask him to know. Yi Chun has already completed acupoint transformation. He's already entered the 4th layer's tempering bones transformation stage. The words of Bai Xiaodai made all the other youths jump up. What? Yi Chun has completed the acupoint transformation and entered the 4th layer of trials? Doesn't that mean Yi Chun can enter the core area of the ancestral land's secret realm? Previously, The youths were just stunned at by Xiao Dai being eliminated, and they hadn't noticed that Yi Chun wasn't transported out with her. When they 28 people were eliminated, there were still both Bai Xiaodai and Yi Chun participating in the trial. Bai Xiaodai was eliminated, but Yi Chun was still in it. Bai Xiaodia's words made everyone realize that among their 30 people, Yi Chun was the only one missing. He was the only one still within the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm. Moreover, according to what Bai Xiaodai implied, Yi Chun had already passed the 3 layers of trials in the ancient furnace of creation and possessed the qualifications to enter the core region of the ancestral land's secret realm. How could this not shock the youths immensely? Bai Xiaodai, how do you know that Yi Chun has entered the 4th layer of trials? Qian Ming asked Bai Xiaodai. With her eyes locked in the direction of the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm, Bai Xiaodai slowly said, "The spirit of the sacred artifact himself told me when I was being eliminated." The spirit of the sacred artifact himself told her? The words of Bai Xiaodai left all the youths speechless with astonishment. Of course, they wouldn't harbor the slightest doubt about the words of the spirit of the sacred artifact. Yi Chun, just like he did with the task of gathering golden light beads in the outer region of the ancestral land's secret realm, created another miracle. Yi Chun has surpassed the predecessors who entered the ancestral land's secret realm in the previous 5 openings, becoming the first person to enter the core area. We've all been eliminated. Only Yi Chun is still persisting. Let's hope he can go further and gain more. The ancestral land's secret realm allows for a month of exploration. He still has 20 days to seize opportunities. Let's wait for him here. The youths all looked toward the central region of the ancestral land's secret realm, unable to see Yi Chun. Yet they seemed to envision the youngster who was still persevering in the ancient furnace of creation. In the end, Bai Xiaodai, Qian Ming, Yi Shui, and all the eliminated youngsters sat down cross-legged on the green flow plains. While cultivating, they awaited the day the exit of the ancestral land's secret realm would open. At the same time, they were also waiting for Yi Chun to return with even greater miracles. 10 days have passed. It's already been 10 days. I wonder how the children are doing in the ancestral land's secret realm. Outside the 3 clans' ancestral lands, every 2 days, the 3 old clan leaders would come to the ancestral land. They were constantly worried about the 30 youngsters from their clans who were still venturing in the ancestral land's secret realm. Not only the 3 old clan leaders, but many clanspeople would also come to the outskirts of the ancestral land and stand there for a long time. Everyone was waiting for the moment when the youngsters would return from the ancestral land's secret realm. Outside Qingyang City, within a secret chamber of the Black Cliff stronghold on Wanya Mountain. Big brother, third brother, do you think the Yi, Bai, and Shen families really have youngsters who have entered their ancestral land? A middle-aged man with scarlet eyebrows asked the 2 sitting beside him. The 2 beside him, one dressed in a green robe and the other in light-colored clothes, were none other than the first and third of the 3 great loose cultivators of Wanya Mountain. The scarlet-eyebrowed middle-aged man who just appeared was Wei Wuya, ranked second among the 3 great loose cultivators and a mid-stage spirit sea realm powerhouse. He had finally ended his seclusion and learned of the opening of the ancestral land's secret realm. Second brother, it's true. These days, I've been discreetly observing the 3 clans. Those 3 clans have countless people paying attention to their ancestral land, waiting for the return of those youngsters who entered the land. I'm a cultivator of the spirit sea realm, while those from the clans are merely small fries in the true chi realm. They don't know that we've been aware of them for a while now, already informed about the ancestral land's secret realm, said the young man in light clothing with a cold chuckle. The green-robed elder beside him also grinned greedily. It's been 10 days already. In 20 more days, we can go claim the treasure. The treasures of the secret realm. They all belong to we 3 brothers. Hearing what the green-robed elder and young man in light clothing said, the scarlet-eyebrowed middle-aged man also laughed heartily. I never expected to come across such good fortune right after ending my seclusion. All right, in 20 days, we will go directly to those 3 major families to fetch the treasures. I imagine that bunch of small-timers wouldn't dare to withhold those secret realm treasures from us. If they really have the guts to provoke us three brothers, cleansing their three clans with blood will also be extremely easy, said the scarlet-eybrowed middle-aged man, his fingers pinching together, causing flames to burn fiercely between them. Chapter 113. Burning Void Minor Divine Ability. Second brother, you've actually succeeded in cultivating this minor divine ability. The youth in plain clothes saw the flames burning continuously in the hands of the middle-aged man with red eyebrows, and his eyes lit up even more. In the central region of the ancestral land secret realm, within the valley of 1830-meter-tall golden monkey statues, Yi-chan was still in the ancient furnace of creation, enduring the washing of the creation spiritual liquid and the refining of the ancient furnace, refining the flesh and skin to produce golden monkey spirit patterns in my body, refining the meridians aims to open my 8 extraordinary meridians. Just now, the refining of the acupoints has reshaped my sea of qi altogether. If it were not for the infusion of Gangyuan true qi into the sea of qi, if the Stars Tower hadn't suppressed the entire sea of qi and acupoints, I might have fallen during the terrifying trial of refining the acupoints just now. Yi-chan, submerged in the countless creation spiritual liquid, was still recalling the dangerousness of the previous third layer's trial of refining the acupoints. The terrible sensation of the sea of qi nearly shattering could make any martial cultivator faint. And Yi-chan had finally made it through once more. After undergoing the transformation of the acupoints, the space of Yi-chan's sea of qi acupoints had expanded 2 or 3 times larger than before. It is said that the sea of qi only enlarges when transforming into a spirit sea upon entering the spirit sea realm. Yi-chan's sea of qi had already expanded, and he truly didn't know what kind of opportunity this would bring him. Currently, he didn't have the spare attention to sense these opportunities because at this moment, he had already withstood the test of bone refining for over an hour and had finally entered into the great opportunity of the 4th layer, the bone pattern transformation. Yi-chan had now reached the final moment of the 4th layer's trial. At this moment, the myriad golden monkey spirit patterns that had flown into his meridians and then into his acupoints were all soaring towards Yi-chan's bones. Just then, in the ancient furnace of creation where Yi-chan was located, all of the creation's spiritual liquid began to swirl like a vortex, also rapidly curling towards Yi-chan, the center of the ancient furnace. Could it be? Could it really be? Yi-chan is going to take that step. The spirit of the sacred artifact, who had been keeping a close eye on Yi-chan, saw the anomaly in the ancient furnace of creation and had completely dilated its huge blue eyes, as the spirit of the sacred artifact watched intently. Amid the rapid swirling of the creation spiritual liquid, all the myriad golden monkey spirit patterns flying towards Yi-chan's bones finally settled on the bones, embedding themselves within Yi-chan's skeleton. Boom! As his bones filled with golden monkey spirit patterns, Yi-chan felt that the myriad spirit patterns, after a momentary pause, suddenly came alive, pulsating with life. Upon closer inspection of these spirit patterns, they seemed to narrate a magical technique, a mystical legacy. Bone pattern secret transmission. If a member of the Jindi ancient clan were present, they would recognize that what now manifested on Yi-chan's bones was the most precious opportunity of the 4th layer trial of the entire ancient furnace of creation of the Jindi ancient clan. The bone pattern secret transmission. While Yi-chan's mind was completely focused on the golden monkey spirit patterns on his bones, as the transformation of the 4th layer was completed, he didn't proceed directly into the 5th layer trial like he had after passing the previous trials. Instead, from the ethereal spirit ring on Yi-chan's thumb, a golden small box suddenly flew out. The ethereal spirit ring had been bound to Yi-chan, and without his invocation, nothing should have flown out on its own. Now that this golden small box had flown out on its own, it took Yi-chan by surprise, so much so that he abruptly looked up. When he saw the suddenly emerging golden small box, Yi-chan exclaimed in shock, "That's the ancestral blood box." This golden small box was none other than the one containing Heavenly Saint Dekong's lifeblood essence. Amid Yi-chan's astonished cries, the golden small box opened directly, and a fist-sized golden blood drop, ancestral blood, adorned with countless flowing spirit patterns and emitting a shimmering, divine light, flew out. In the instant that the ancestral blood emerged, a voice entered Yi Chen's ears. Ancestral blood has waited for 1,000 years, finally finding the one it was meant to guide. The fourth layer's transformation, capable of producing the bone pattern secret transmission, is an astonishingly rare opportunity for those outside my clan, and even more unique for your 3 clans. The upcoming 5th layer trial, the Descent of Divine Blood, cannot be entered by anyone outside the Jindi ancient clan. So, your trial of the ancient furnace of creation ends here. You now have sufficient qualification to enter my ultimate legacy, the Ancient God Tower. Ultimate legacy? Ancient God Tower? This voice, is it Heavenly Saint Dekong's? As Yi Chun puzzled over the voice suddenly appearing in his mind, in the valley he was in, the 18 golden monkey statues lit up with sky-reaching brilliance. Meanwhile, the spirit of the sacred artifact in the void was ecstatic, its expression bursting with joy as it looked towards the core area of the ancestral land. Ultimate trial, ultimate legacy, ultimate reward. Yi Chun, this young fellow, has truly activated the guidance of ancestral blood. Amid the soaring light from the 18 golden monkey statues, amid the ecstatic exclamations of the spirit of the sacred artifact, the core area of the ancestral land, where 9 towering peaks stood, suddenly shook violently at once. Subsequently, Yi Chun, who was in the ancient furnace of creation, disappeared from the furnace. Chapter 114, Ancient God Tower. Is this the Ancient God Tower that the voice mentioned? Yi Chun, who had vanished from the ancient furnace of creation, reappeared and found himself at the base of a sky-supporting giant tower. This giant tower, towering over 1,000 zhang in height, had a total of 18 floors based on the structure of the tower. The 18-floor tower, with each level being 100 zhang high, added up to an astonishing height of 1 to 2,000 zhang, resembling a majestic giant mountain. Even more divine and mysterious was the realm surrounding this giant tower. The ground that Yi Chun stood on, which was the earth beneath the tower, was bursting with multicolored hues, and his every step would cause the spot he tread upon to emit brilliant flashes of light. Looking around, there was nothing else between heaven and earth. It seemed as though this world consisted solely of the giant tower. Looking up toward the top of the tower was even more astonishing, as one could see layers upon layers of golden water ripples ceaselessly flowing in the sky. The sky, which was usually an empty expanse, had multiple layers of golden streams above the tower, as if the tower existed within an underwater realm. Yi Chun had never before seen a sky where waves of water were in constant motion. As Yi Chun was surveying the realm he was in and examining the sky-supporting giant tower that suddenly appeared before him, a colossal face emerged within the water flowing above the pagoda. That immense visage was all too familiar to Yi Chun. It was unmistakably the face of the spirit of the sacred artifact. At that moment, the spirit of the sacred artifact gazed deeply at Yi Chun, its eyes filled with astonishment. After a long silence, it finally spoke. Yi Chun, I didn't expect that you would receive the guidance of the ancestral blood, allowing my old master, Heavenly Saint Dekong's divine sense to personally transport you to the outside of this ancient God Tower, to this ultimate test location. Guidance of the ancestral blood? Heavenly Saint Dekong's divine sense personally transported him? The ultimate test location? The words of the spirit of the sacred artifact reminded Yi Chun of the voice he had heard when the ancestral blood took flight within the ancient furnace of creation. That voice was filled with commanding authority, as if it wielded control over heaven and earth, and at that time, Yi Chun had guessed that it might belong to the owner of the ancestral blood, Heavenly Saint Dekong. Now, with the spirit of the sacred artifact's confirmation, it became clear that the voice indeed belonged to Heavenly Saint Dekong, ancestral blood, which was Heavenly Saint Dekong's lifeblood, and to think that his words were carried along with it. Within the ancestral blood lingered the remnants of Heavenly Saint Dekong's divine sense. Yi Chun looked around yet saw no trace of Heavenly Saint Dekong, nor did he hear his voice again. It seemed that after guiding him to this mysterious place, the lingering divine sense of Heavenly Saint Dekong had completed its arrangement and then disappeared anew. Having not seen the formidable heavenly Saint Dekong himself, Yi Chun felt somewhat disappointed. However, his attention quickly shifted to focus on the ancient God Tower, the ultimate inheritance location mentioned by both heavenly Saint Dekong and the spirit of the sacred artifact. As early as the start of the Tri-Clan competition, Patriarch Bai had said that the one who possessed the ancestral blood could have a chance to enter the ultimate inheritance location and obtain heavenly Saint Dekong's ultimate reward. Yet, in the previous 5 openings of the ancestral land, no one holding the ancestral blood had been able to enter the ultimate inheritance location. Yi Chun hadn't expected that he would arrive at this ultimate test location directly after repeatedly being tested in the ancient furnace of creation. Is the ancient God Tower the ultimate test location? What could heavenly Saint Dekong's ultimate reward be? Could it really be inside the ancient God Tower? Yi Chun, gazing at the sky-supporting giant tower before him, was full of anticipation to enter this land of inheritance and find out what the ultimate reward was. Seeing the look in Yi Chun's eyes, the spirit of the sacred artifact also turned to gaze at the 18-floor sky-supporting giant tower, the ancient God Tower. It slowly said, "Yi Chun, you probably don't know where this ancient God Tower actually is." Yi Chun looked around uncertainly and said, "Could it be the core region of the ancestral land, where the heaven-reaching giant peaks are located?" He remembered that when he first entered the ancestral land's secret realm, he saw that the peripheral area was a plain and the mountains and valleys farther away were the central region, while the heaven-reaching giant peaks at the farthest horizon, according to the secret realm map, marked the core region of the ancestral land. Having already passed through the first 2 areas and arriving at this place of ultimate reward, he should have entered the location of the heaven-reaching giant peaks. However, Yi Chun saw no heaven-reaching giant peaks around him, only the giant tower and the sky where waves were flowing above it. This is not the location of the heaven-reaching giant peaks. That heaven-reaching giant peak, if you had only completed the 3 tests of the ancient furnace of creation, you would have entered it for a 3rd opportunity and test. But you not only completed the first 3 levels of the tests, but you also completed the 4th, and above all, you were guided by the ancestral blood. Thus, you directly bypassed the test of the heaven-reaching giant peaks and entered this ultimate test, the ultimate inheritance, the ultimate reward location, the ancient God Tower, deep in the core realm. This is the absolute core of the entire ethereal spirit holy temple, and those heaven-reaching giant peaks are but the array guarding the absolute core. The absolute core of the ethereal spirit holy temple? Even the heaven-reaching giant peaks within the core region of the ancestral land are just the guardian array of this domain? If it weren't for the guidance of ancestral blood, Yi Chun couldn't have imagined that within the core region of the ancestral land, there existed an even more central domain. Why is this place the absolute core of the ethereal spirit holy temple? It's because of this ancient God Tower. The spirit of the sacred artifact looked at the ancient God Tower and spoke leisurely. When my old master obtained the ancient God Tower, he hid it in the very center of the ethereal spirit holy temple, and from then on, this place became the heart of the heart. Artifact spirit. What is so magical about this ancient God Tower? Whether it was the words of heavenly Saint Dekong from earlier, the constant emphasis the spirit of the sacred artifact placed on the ancient God Tower, or the strange space surrounding the ancient God Tower, Yi Chun was extremely curious about it. The spirit of the sacred artifact did not directly answer Yi Chun's question, but instead asked him, "Yi Chun, you have shown exceptional performance in the trials of the ancestral land secret realm. How many do you think there are who are stronger than you at the same age?" Yi Chun thought of heavenly Saint Dekong, heavenly Saint Qianji, and heavenly Saint Lian Yu. This world was filled with countless geniuses. Perhaps even within the heavenly wind kingdom, there were many who were stronger than him. There should be many who are stronger than me, not just a few. Yi Chun certainly wouldn't arrogantly assume he was invincible among his peers. The spirit of the sacred artifact nodded and said, "Yi Chun, you're one of the rare geniuses I've seen. There won't be many who are stronger than you, but that doesn't mean there are none. Just like you, Yi Chun, I can see that, aside from this ancestral land's secret realm, you must have also obtained other opportunities and fortunes. Others, of course, will have their own opportunities, their own fortunes. Yichun nodded in agreement. Indeed, aside from the ancestral land's secret realm, he had also entered the Thousand Lotus Cave abode, and even obtained the chance to learn the even more mysterious primordial star scripture. Yichun wouldn't think that all the opportunities were just for him to encounter. He knew that those other more powerful individuals also had their own chances. Therefore, Yichun didn't become arrogant and complacent after obtaining opportunities. He still relied on himself, continuously undergoing arduous cultivation, and ceaselessly seeking new chances to become even stronger. Just like Zhang Yao, the girl he knew so well, he had heard her say that she had entered mysterious places of inheritance several times, achieving continuous breakthroughs in cultivation. Even Zhang Yao owned a bloodline talent secret technique that even she herself did not know the origin of. The spirit of the sacred artifact continued. Speaking of others aside, my old master, Heavenly Saint Di Kong, was even more excellent and talented than you. My old master stepped into the spirit sea realm at the age of 10, and by the age of 80, he had already transcended the rotating pill realm, reaching the Heavenly Saint realm. To enter the spirit sea realm at the age of 10. To become a Heavenly Saint realm powerhouse by the age of 80. The spirit of the sacred artifact's words completely astounded Yichun. Yichun had never heard of anyone entering the spirit sea realm at the age of 10 before. Even those Heavenly Saint realm powerhouses were said to have cultivated to that realm after thousands of years. Yichun couldn't fathom that Heavenly Saint Di Kong could cultivate so rapidly, even faster than himself. Seeing Yichun's stunned look, the spirit of the sacred artifact chuckled and said, "My old master is a member of the Jindi ancient clan. Of course he's much more powerful than you ordinary humans. If you ordinary humans enter the spirit sea at the age of 20 and the rotating pill realm by the age of 80, you are considered absolute geniuses. In the Jindi ancient clan, if one enters the spirit sea at the age of 20, that's a very mediocre clan member. One is only considered a genius if they can enter the spirit sea before the age of 15. Is the Jindi ancient clan so powerful?" Thinking of Heavenly Saint Di Kong's golden monkey true form with a body length of over 1,000 zhang, taller than a giant mountain, Yichun felt his heart surge with emotion. Heavenly Saint Di Kong's Jindi ancient clan was something Yichun had never seen or heard of before, but from Di Kong and the descriptions of the artifact spirit, Yichun understood the strength and terror of this ancient clan. So it turned out that there were groups even more powerful than ordinary humans in this world, along with mysterious ancient clans. Yichun felt that the veil of mystery over the barbaric wilderness continent had been lifted another layer for him. Back in the day, my old master was considered the #1 genius in the entire Jindi ancient clan. He once thought he was the greatest genius of his era. However, it wasn't until one day when he encountered this ancient god tower that he realized how narrow his vision was. So vast are the heavens and the earth, and countless are the geniuses. Even among the ancient clans, many are stronger than the Jindi ancient clan. This ancient god tower is an inheritance tower left behind by an ancient clan that even my old master did not know. It contains the time law that my old master couldn't fathom even at the Heavenly Saint realm, said the spirit of the sacred artifact as Yichun listened eagerly to its significant origin. According to my old master's investigation, this ancient god tower is likely a powerful sacred artifact used by the unknown ancient clan to temper its younger generation, just as the Jindi ancient clan uses the ancient furnace of creation to temper its young members. However, the ancient god tower is far more wondrous than the ancient furnace of creation. Only those with a bone age under 20 can enter this ancient god tower, and once inside, the time flow rate within the ancient god tower is completely different from the outside. My old master once had many clan members attempt it, and the astonishing conclusion reached was that the time flow rate inside the ancient god tower is 10 times that of the outside. 10 days of cultivation inside the tower only equates to 1 day outside. Imagine, if you cultivate for 100 days inside this ancient god tower, only 10 days would have passed outside. When you come out, you'll have cultivated 10 times longer than those who only cultivated for 10 days. How much greater would your gains be? This is the great opportunity offered by the ancient god tower. Chapter 115. Entering the Tower. Boom! The words of the spirit of the sacred artifact resounded like thunder in Yi Chen's mind. Heaven. The flow of time differs. This ancient god tower actually involves the time law that even those in the heavenly saint realm cannot comprehend. Within this ancient god tower, one can have 10 times more cultivation time. Yi Chen remembered that there were only 20 days left until the departure from the ancestral land according to the opening time of the exit. If he were to cultivate outside, that would be just 20 days of cultivation time. However, if he were to cultivate inside this ancient god tower, wouldn't that mean he could cultivate for a full 200 days? With 200 days, Yi Chen was 100% certain that he could enhance his strength to rank within the top 3 or even first in the Taishan sect true disciple selection. This ancient god tower truly gave Yi Chen an enormous surprise. Artifact Spirit. Apart from the restriction on bone age being under 20 years for entry into this ancient god tower, are there any other restrictions? Yi Chen asked aloud. If there were no other restrictions, and he could enter the ancient god tower, Yi Chen would cultivate there continuously until it was time to leave. The spirit of the sacred artifact spoke. This ancient god tower, serving as the ancient clan's legacy tower for tempering the younger generation, certainly cannot allow clansmen to cultivate within as they please. After all, with different time flow rates, continuously cultivating inside could lead to unexpected great backlash. From observations made by my former master over hundreds of years since acquiring the ancient god tower, those under 20 can only enter once. Moreover, after entering, each floor only allows for 30 days of cultivation time, which equates to just 3 days of cultivation time outside. Only after passing the trial of that floor and moving on to the next can one gain another 30 days of cultivation time. Ultimately, across all 18 floors of the giant tower, the longest cultivation time one can achieve is 540 days, or 54 days outside. That is to say, if you possess absolute strength and can charge through all 18 floors of the pagoda in one go, by utilizing this ancient god tower, you could gain an additional 487 days of cultivation compared to others. So that's how it is. Having understood the trial rules of the ancient god tower as explained by the spirit of the sacred artifact, Yi Chen finally comprehended. This ancient god tower, it seems, provides greater opportunities to those with greater capabilities. If one cannot pass the trial of each floor, then the extra time gained within would not be much more than others. The more floors of the ancient god tower one conquers, the longer the extra cultivation time one accrues compared to others in the same external time frame. The longest time is 487 days. Don't underestimate these 487 days. It is almost a year and a half. An additional year and a half of cultivation time compared to others is enough for a genius to leave their peers far behind. Take Yi Chen for example, he took just about half a year to advance from the first level of true Qi to the 7th level. Even though it gets more difficult to cultivate as one progresses, with an extra year and a half of cultivation time, Yi Chen was confident he could make significant progress with his strength. Yi Chen, your ultimate test will be this ancient god tower trial. Your ultimate chance lies within this ancient god tower and its time flow opportunity. Prepare to enter and seize your ultimate opportunity. Although it becomes harder to pass through each floor of the ancient god tower, with your strength and talent, I estimate you could at least conquer up to the 9th floor. That is to say, by spending a little over 20 days, you could gain at least half a year's worth of additional cultivation time from the opportunities provided by the ancient god tower compared to others. The spirit of the sacred artifact spoke to Yi Chen. Yi Chen was filled with surging emotions by what the spirit of the sacred artifact had said. He truly had this opportunity to cultivate within the ancient god tower. He would certainly grasp it well, trying to conquer as many floors as possible to strive for more additional cultivation time. Yet Yi Chen suddenly thought of an issue. There's only 1 month of exploration time in the ancestral land's secret realm, and he had already spent 10 days in the outer and middle regions, leaving only 20 days. These 20 days would be equivalent to 200 days within the ancient god tower. Inspecting it layer by layer, and taking 30 days to cultivate each layer, he would have to leave the tower by the 7th floor. That would be too wasteful of this rare single opportunity to enter the ancient God Tower. After all, each person can only enter the ancient God Tower once, and once he leaves, there would be no more chances to enter the ancient God Tower and gain additional cultivation time. Yi-chun wished to stay on each level for 30 days and pass through more levels to acquire the maximum additional cultivation time. At the thought, Yi-chun became uncharacteristically gloomy. Artifact Spirit, with only 20 days left before the ancestral land entrance reopens. I can cultivate inside the ancient God Tower for at most 200 days. Even if I can reach the 8th or 9th level, time won't be enough, and I'll be forcibly transported out by the ancestral land's secret realm. Ha! Yi-chun, you are mistaken, the spirit of the sacred artifact said with a faint smile. The 1-month time limit to explore the ancestral land's secret realm applies to your adventures in the outer, middle, and core regions. Now that you have entered the ultimate trial level, that 1-month time limit no longer concerns you. If you can pass all 18 levels of the ancient God Tower, it won't matter even if you stay for 54 days. I will send you out when the time comes. What? There's no 1-month time limit anymore? Cultivate for as long as possible? The words of the spirit of the sacred artifact lifted Yi-chun from dejection to great surprise. If there really was no time limit, he would certainly make every effort to secure the most cultivation time in the ancient God Tower. After all, there were over 3 months until the Taishan sect's True Disciple Selection Conference, which Yi-chun must attend. That time span was more than enough for Yi-chun to conquer all 18 levels of the ancient God Tower and still have time to spare. Judging by time outside the ancient God Tower, each level equated to 3 days of cultivation time, and 18 levels summed up to merely 54 days, nearly 2 months. Yi-chun had ample time to seize the great opportunity of the ancient God Tower. Good, thank you, Artifact Spirit. Without the 1-month time limit, I'll definitely exert all my strength to challenge higher levels of the ancient God Tower, Yi-chun declared, looking at the sky-supporting giant tower before him. Seeing Yi-chun's eyes brimming with fighting spirit, the spirit of the sacred artifact nodded. Yi-chun, the higher the level in the ancient God Tower, the more difficult the challenge becomes. You must cultivate for a long enough time, grasp each of the 30 days on every level, strive to increase your strength within these 30 days before tackling the next level, and make the most of the available time on each level. I look forward to seeing you advance beyond the 9th level in the ancient God Tower, even reaching the 11th or 12th level. In the past, my old master sent many talented youths from the Jindi ancient clan to challenge the ancient God Tower, with the highest reaching the 15th level. Go forth and strive, Yi-chun. I hope new miracles will emerge from your efforts. Yi-chun nodded his head. He now had the Gang Yuan chapter of the Primordial Star Scripture to cultivate, the True Qi realm to elevate, and 2 high-grade Xian-level cultivation techniques, the Wind Thunder sword skills and Wind Thunder movement technique to master. He even obtained the bone pattern secret transmission in the ancient furnace of creation. What Yi-chun lacked now was cultivation time. Having the opportunity to enter the ancient God Tower, he would go all out to gain as much additional time as possible, to make his techniques even stronger. To secure one of the top 3 spots in the Taishan sect's True Disciple Selection Conference in over 3 months, to fulfill the Time Mysterious Pact with Fairy Jiaoluo, and to be prepared for the reunion with Zhang Yao, he would give his final sprint. Seeing Yi-chun prepared for the ultimate trial in the ancient God Tower, the spirit of the sacred artifact hesitated no longer. It fixed its gaze on the ancient God Tower, and a strange law pattern flowed through its eyes, causing the first level's door to burst open. Then, a powerful current whisked Yi-chun into the ancient God Tower. Yi-chun had finally entered the trials of the ancient God Tower and started his cultivation journey. Just as Yi-chun entered the ancient God Tower and began his trials and cultivating journey, on the 18th level's tower top, within the layers of golden waves flowing across the sky, a tiny figure suddenly appeared. This tiny figure was none other than that palm-sized, shining little monkey covered in golden fur, resplendent all over. The golden monkey also saw the 18-leveled pagoda below and wanted to break through the water to enter the space of the ancient God Tower. But it seemed as though a barrier in that space kept the golden monkey confined within the golden waves at the tower's apex. "Iya!" After some futile effort, the golden monkey helplessly glared with its bright, gem-like eyes before darting back into the golden waves. If one looked at the entire ethereal spirit holy temple space, they would astonishingly find the sky-supporting giant tower, the ancient god tower, enshrouded by the golden lake beneath 9 heaven-reaching giant peaks. Below the golden lake, a sky-supporting giant tower was hidden, a fact nobody would have anticipated. No wonder there were golden waves flowing in the sky above the giant tower. Observing the golden monkey, the spirit of the sacred artifact sighed softly. "Little fellow, wait a bit longer. My old master hasn't come to fetch you after all these years. I'm afraid only through this ultimate reward level could you possibly leave. Perhaps it is Yi-chan who will take you from this ethereal spirit holy temple and lead you to the vast world that belongs to you." Chapter 116. Strength Skyrockets. The spirit of the sacred artifact's sigh resounded ethereally. Yi-chan and the golden monkey, who were related to its words, heard none of what the spirit of the sacred artifact said. At this moment, the golden monkey had already dived into the ripples of the golden lake, and Yi-chan had officially entered the ancient god tower. The first level of the ancient god tower. This was a space thousands of zhang in area, as vibrant and multicolored as the land outside the tower. With every casual step Yi-chan took, the ground emitted patches of light. However, unlike the outside of the ancient god tower, upon entering the first level, Yi-chan felt as though the entire space was somewhat distorted, with an indescribable sense of weirdness. The flow of time inside the ancient god tower is completely different from the outside. 10 days of training inside the tower amounts to only 1 day outside. Could this difference in the flow of time be caused by the spatial distortion? Yi-chan pondered the strange sensation inside the first level of the ancient god tower. The time law involved with the ancient god tower was so profound that even experts of the heavenly saint realm could not fully grasp it, not to mention Yi-chan with his current strength and perspective. Not understanding, Yi-chan decided not to dwell on it. He looked around the various parts of the space on the first level. According to the artifact spirit, each level of the ancient god tower only provides 30 days of training time. To obtain another 30 days, one must pass the trials of that level and enter the next one. Where is this trial? And where is the entrance to the next level? Although Yi-chan intended to train for the full 30 days on each level before moving on to the next, he needed to figure out the trial's nature and the entrance to the next level in advance. As Yi-chan was surveying his surroundings, a burst of light suddenly emanated from the end of the space stretching thousands of zhang. With a booming sound, a massive teleportation array appeared, and at the same time, a stone golem over 7 or 8 meters tall appeared beside the array. Challenger. Upon its appearance, the giant stone golem looked towards Yi-chan and spoke. For Yi-chan, who was now in this mysterious ancient god tower where even the flow of time could be altered, the appearance of a talking stone golem no longer surprised him. He stared at the massive stone golem, eager to hear what it might say. The stone golem, towering 7 or 8 meters high and wielding a massive stone club, spoke to Yi-chan. "I am the guardian of the first floor of the ancient god tower. If you can kill me, you will receive a teleportation token that provides access to the second level. You may choose to enter the second level immediately or continue training on this floor. After the maximum training time on the first floor is reached, the teleportation token will automatically transport you to the second level. If you fail to kill me and obtain the teleportation token before the training time on the first level ends, you will be directly teleported out of the ancient god tower and lose the opportunity to continue ascending the tower." After saying this, the massive stone golem stood guard beside the teleportation array, no longer speaking. Is this stone golem the trial of this level? By killing it and obtaining the teleportation token, I qualify to enter the next level? With just a few words from the stone golem, Yi-chan understood how to progress through the levels of the ancient god tower. Let's test the strength of this stone golem. Yi-chan decided to kill the stone golem first, obtain the teleportation token, then train on this level for the maximum 30 days, and await automatic transmission to the next level to continue the challenges. According to the artifact spirit, I should easily conquer the first 9 levels. This guardian of the first level should be easy to deal with. Let's not waste time then. After obtaining the teleportation token, I can train in peace. Having made up his mind, Yichun hesitated no longer and walked straight towards the 7 or 8 meter tall stone golem. When Yichun was 3 to 4 meters away from the stone golem, within its striking range, the massive stone golem instantly lifted the huge stone club in its hands and swung it towards Yichun. Whoosh! At the very moment the stone golem made its move, Yichun lightly flicked his finger and a sword of true chi abruptly formed in the void. In an instant, the sword of true chi shot towards the stone golem with explosive force. Thud! In one move, the sword of true chi pierced directly into the golem's head, and then the immense true chi power completely shattered the stone golem into dust. Along with the stone golem's destruction, a thunk was heard, and an ancient-looking teleportation token fell to the ground. The guardian of the first level of the ancient god tower should be equivalent to an ordinary practitioner of true chi at the 7th layer. Just as the spirit of the sacred artifact said, it posed no challenge to me. Yichun reached out his hand and drew the fallen teleportation token into his grasp. With this teleportation token, I can train in peace for 30 days. After 30 days of training, the teleportation token would automatically transport him to the 2nd level of the ancient god tower. So Yichun didn't need to worry about anything else. Time to train. Training in the 1st level of the ancient god tower for 30 days means only 3 days pass by outside. I can gain an additional 27 days of training. I must seize this opportunity to enhance my strength. With that thought, Yichun immediately sat down in the 1st level of the ancient god tower and entered into deep training. 30 days later, amidst a glow and a sound, Yichun, who was deeply immersed in his training, was roused from his meditation. This time upon awakening, Yichun was completely different from when he had started his training. Chapter 117. After 30 days of arduous cultivation, Yichun successfully stepped into the 8th level of the True Chi realm and cultivated 3 of the 8 True Chi vortices entirely into Gang Yuan True Chi. Not only that, he delved into cultivating the 2 techniques, Thunder Sword skills and Thunder Movement skills, and within 1 month, Yichun successfully brought both sets of these techniques to minor accomplishment. At this point, Yichun had become much stronger than when he first entered the ancient god tower, and this was merely the result of 30 days of cultivation on the 1st level of the tower. Coming out from his cultivation, Yichun saw his teleportation token fly directly towards the 1st level teleportation array, and then the array burst into a dazzling light. 30 days of cultivation have finally come to an end. I'm about to be teleported to the 2nd level. The time distortion in the ancient god tower is indeed marvelous. Only 3 days have passed on the outside, but I have cultivated for a full 30 days, boosting my strength so much. Yichun could hardly wait to step into the 2nd level of the ancient god tower and continue his cultivation for the next 30 days. During this period of focused and intensive cultivation, Yichun had completely entered the state of meditation. He merely wanted to keep cultivating like this, until he could no longer make his way through the ancient god tower. How much his strength would increase from this intense state of cultivation, even Yichun himself did not know. All he knew was that if he continued to cultivate in this manner, he was absolutely confident that he would rank among the top 3 in the selection of Taishan sect's true disciples. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the teleportation array's overwhelming brilliance directly transported Yichun to the 2nd level of the ancient god tower. The rule for passing through the 2nd level was the same as the 1st. He still had to kill the level guardians to proceed to the next level. The guardian of this level was still a giant stone puppet. This time, Yichun once again defeated it with a single move and obtained the teleportation token for the 3rd level. The guardian of the 2nd level was a bit stronger. It seems that, as the artifact spirit said, the challenges of the 18 levels of the ancient god tower become increasingly difficult the further you go. I must seize the time to cultivate in order to face the challenges ahead. After muttering to himself for a bit, Yichun sat down in the space of the 2nd level and once again began another 30 days of cultivation. Like this, every 30 days Yichun would proceed to ascend 1 level of the ancient god tower. he began a frenzy of cultivating within the ancient god tower, storming through the levels. The other 29 youths who had entered the ancestral land's secret realm with him were all cultivating in the green flow plains, an area on the periphery of the secret realm. By the 20th day of their cultivation, Yi-chun had already been cultivating for a full 200 days in the ancient god tower. Yi-chun had officially entered the 7th level of the ancient god tower. At that moment, within the spatial realm of the 7th level of the ancient god tower, Yi-chun was entering the 20th day of cultivation on that level. If anyone could see the situation in Yi-chun's Qi-si, they would surely be astounded. By now, Yi-chun's Qi-si contained no fewer than 9 true Qi vortices. While only 20 days had passed on the outside, Yi-chun had leveraged the marvelous time flow rate of the ancient god tower to directly enter the 9th level of the true Qi realm. Even more astonishing was not the 9 true Qi vortices, but the fact that among these 9, 6 were comprised of the silver true Qi vortices aggregated by Gang Yuan true Qi. Had it not been for Yi-chun's dedicated cultivation of the primordial star scripture and the Gang Yuan chapter, refining Gang Yuan true Qi, he would have had enough time in these 200 days to advance to the 10th level of the true Qi realm, cultivating 10 true Qi vortices. Although he did not progress to the 10th level of true Qi, the 6 major Gang Yuan true Qi vortices had already boosted Yi-chun's strength to an incredibly terrifying degree. Not just the Gang Yuan true Qi had gained significant progress. Within these 200 days, Yi-chun had also cultivated both the thunder sword skills and thunder movement skills to great accomplishment. He had now completely mastered these 2 sets of profound grade techniques, and even began the formal cultivation of the final layers of wind thunder sword skills and wind thunder movement techniques, specifically the wind and thunder combined strike sword skills and wind thunder wings movement technique. Significant gains in internal cultivation. The external martial skills cultivated were similarly fruitful. 200 days of cultivation in the ancient god tower had made Yi-chun's strength skyrocket. When he was at the 7th level of the true Qi realm, Yi-chun was already able to defeat Bai Xiaodai, who was at the 11th level. Now, Yi-chun had enough confidence to compete with the prodigious disciples of the 6th rank Taishan sect, who were at the 12th level of the true Qi realm. He even had a shot at clinching the top 3 spots in the Taishan sect's true disciple selection, or even coming in first. Moreover, this was not the end of Yi-chun's cultivation. He had just reached the 7th floor of the ancient god tower. He still had time to continue breaking through. While Yi-chun was cultivating in the ancient god tower for 200 days, experiencing a surge in strength, in the periphery of the ancestral land's secret realm, the other 29 cultivators had also made significant progress during their 20 days of cultivation. With the help of the small spirit pill and 20 days of arduous cultivation, Bai Xiaodai and Shen Ming, both at the 11th level of true Qi, had broken through to the 12th level. At the same time, Bai Xiaodai, who possessed the creation Yuan pill, could have stepped into the spirit sea realm if she had not wanted to consolidate her true Qi cultivation level and external martial skills any further by directly consuming the creation Yuan pill. The other youths also saw considerable improvements in their strength compared to when they first entered the ancestral land's secret realm. It could be said that this exploration of the ancestral land's secret realm was fruitful for everyone. Finally, as the 20 days passed by, the exploration journey of the 29 youths in the ancestral land's secret realm was about to end. Boom! A thunderous roar seemed to tear open the void, and all the youths around the periphery of the ancestral land were jolted awake from their cultivation, when they saw a dark vortex appear in the void, and at the same time, the past tokens in their hands emitted an incredibly bright glow. All the youths of the 3 clans knew that the day to leave the ancestral land's secret realm had arrived. At this moment, Bai Xiaodai in the crowd suddenly looked towards the core area of the ancestral land with confusion and said, "Where is Yi-chun? How come the exploration of the ancestral land's secret realm is ending, and Yi-chun has not yet come out? The entrance to the ancestral land has opened again. The children are coming out." Outside the ancestral land, on the day marking the end of the month-long adventure, countless members of the 3 clans had already gathered early outside the ancestral land, waiting for the moment when the youths would return. When they saw a dark vortex, several zhang in diameter, appearing behind the fourth statue at the center of the ancestral land. All the members of the three clans shouted out in excitement. At this moment, the three old clan chiefs, Yi Chen's parents, the little girl tower, as well as the parents and family of the other 29 youths, were also among the crowd. Everyone was gazing towards the entrance of the ancestral land's secret realm, waiting expectantly. A whole month has finally come to an end. The youths of the Yi, Bai, and Qian families who entered the ancestral land for an adventure will finally emerge. Let's go. Let's see what secret treasures those kids managed to get in Qingyang City of the three clans. Above Wanya Mountain, outside Qingyang City, three figures suddenly appeared in the sky of a giant mountain. As soon as the three figures appeared, they looked directly towards the location of the three major families of Qingyang City and started conversing in low voices. Looking at the faces of these three figures, they were unmistakably the three great spirit sea realm loose cultivators of Wanya Mountain, those who had plotted to seize the secret treasures of the three clans' ancestral land. Boom! After having a brief conversation, the three figures directly used escaping light and flew towards Qingyang City. Chapter 118. Fangs. Spirit sea realm experts, with the speed at which they could fly through the skies and burrow through the earth, arrived in mere moments above the residential area of the three great loose cultivators of Wanya Mountain. Eventually, they came to a halt directly above the heads of the countless members of the three clans outside the ancestral land. Outside the ancestral land, the numerous clanspeople of the three clans, who were originally full of anticipation waiting for the young ones to emerge from the ancestral land's secret realm, suddenly heard the sound of a strong wind whistling in the sky, rapidly approaching them. All looked up into the sky, and when they saw three streaks of light flying directly above their heads, revealing three figures, everyone from the three clans exclaimed in surprise, "This is God! Those are spirit sea realm experts. Three mighty beings who can fly in the sky. Why have they come to our clans?" This day was precisely when the adventure in the ancestral land's secret realm of the three clans was supposed to end. Yet such formidable figures had suddenly appeared in their families' midst, giving everyone from the three clans a bad premonition. The expressions of the three clan elders watching the three figures hovering in the sky changed dramatically. The three clan elders instantly recognized the identities of the three figures in the sky. They're the three great spirit sea realm loose cultivators from Wanya Mountain, the three leaders of Black Cliff Stronghold on Wanya Mountain, the fort chiefs. The main chief, Sikong Miao, the second chief, Wei Wuya, the third chief, Lei Qing. These three great loose cultivators, who usually stay within Black Cliff Stronghold on Wanya Mountain, even if they leave Wanya Mountain, usually head to other regions. Why would they come to our humble Qingyang City, to our three clans, and fly to the outside of our ancestral land? Having recognized the identities of the three great loose cultivators, the hearts of the three clan elders sank even further. The three clan elders faintly guessed that the arrival of these three great spirit sea realm loose cultivators must be related to the adventure in the ancestral land's secret realm. Now was the day when the most excellent youths of their clans returned from the ancestral land's secret realm, and it was just too coincidental for the three great loose cultivators of Wanya Mountain to come knocking at this time. If the three great loose cultivators really came for matters related to the adventure in the ancestral land's secret realm, then it would be terrible. The youths coming out from the ancestral land would surely bring with them the precious secret treasures obtained from the adventure in the ancestral land's secret realm. If the three great loose cultivators learnt of these treasures, that would indeed be disastrous. No way! The ancestral land's secret realm is a secret known only to the people of our three clans. We're just in this small place in Qingyang City. How could we attract the attention of others? Perhaps these three great loose cultivators are just passing through. Although a bad premonition lingered in their minds, the three clan elders didn't dare to think the worst and could only hope that the three great loose cultivators in the sky were merely passing by and would leave after a short stay. Among the three clan elders, Patriarch Bai stepped forward from the crowd and with a respectful bow, addressed the three great loose cultivators in the sky. For what purpose do the three esteemed figures come to our clan? If there is anything our three clans can do to serve, we will surely see to it for you. The three great loose cultivators of Wanya Mountain were all Spirit Sea Realm experts, among whom the main chief Sikong Miao and the second chief Wei Wuya were even more powerful, being mid-stage experts of the Spirit Sea Realm. And within the three great families, the highest cultivation level was only at the 12th level of the True Qi realm, held by the three clan elders, and the huge disparity in strength meant they had to be exceedingly respectful towards the three great loose cultivators. As Patriarch Bai respectfully addressed the three great loose cultivators, all members of the three clans looked at the three people in the sky with fear on their faces. High above in the sky, the third of the three great loose cultivators, the early-stage Spirit Sea Realm expert Lei Qing, burst into loud laughter upon seeing the three clanspeople below scared out of their wits and the elders' faces continually changing. "We've come to your clan on this occasion indeed for a matter to settle. I'll not beat around the bush with you. We're aware of the matter concerning your ancestral land secret realm. When those little ones of your clans come out with treasures from the secret realm, just hand them over to us three." Boom! Lei Qing's words echoed like a thunderclap in the minds of the countless members of the three clans. So these mighty figures truly came for the treasures of the ancestral land secret realm. They actually knew about the ancestral land secret realm and had deliberately chosen this day to snatch the treasures. The faces of the three clan elders turned ashen in an instant. If the three great loose cultivators of Wanya Mountain had really come to snatch the treasures, their three clans would have no ability to resist at all, let alone three Spirit Sea Realm experts. Even a single Spirit Sea Realm expert would be enough to sweep through all the cultivators of the three clans. Could they only watch helplessly as the treasures the children had labored to obtain from the adventure in the ancestral land secret realm fell into the hands of these three elders? How could the little treasures of our clan ever catch the eyes of such esteemed figures? Might you have been misled by someone's false rumors? Patriarch Bai let escape a wry smile in his heart, and was about to say something more to the three loose cultivators in the sky when the leader of the trio in the sky, the green-robed elder, Sikong Miao from Black Cliff Stronghold, coldly chuckled. "What a racket!" With a grab through the void, Patriarch Bai was suddenly caught in midair and yanked upwards. Boom! Then, with a wave of Sikong Miao's hand, Patriarch Bai was hurled to the side, crashing into the wall of a house with such force that the building collapsed, burying Patriarch Bai in the rubble. True Qi Realm's 12-layer Patriarch Bai had no power to fight back in the face of Sikong Miao, a mid-Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse. After flinging the talking Patriarch Bai away with one move, Sikong Miao proclaimed, "Stay put, all of you, and when those youngsters come out, have them obediently hand over the treasures. Otherwise, I won't mind blood cleansing your three tribes." Patriarch, Elder Patriarch. Seeing Patriarch Bai being flung away by Sikong Miao, crashing into the house and buried beneath the rubble, members from all three tribes screamed and scrambled toward the collapsed building, desperately clearing away the stones. At that moment, Sikong Miao's words sent shivers down the spines of every tribesperson in the three clans. Not minding the blood cleanse of three tribes? This Sikong Miao is truly ruthless. When Patriarch Bai was excavated by the crowd, it was unclear if he had been knocked out by the blow or was rendered unconscious by rage from the invasion of the three loose cultivators seeking treasures. The other two elder patriarchs surrounding Patriarch Bai and countless tribes people from the three clans all felt a wave of desolation wash over them. Could it be that the heavens truly intended for their three tribes to fall into decline? Previously, the Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse Zhou Yuntian had come and taken two people from within their clan, and now, just when the three tribes had finally anticipated the great opportunity that lay with the opening of the ancestral land, they were targeted by yet another Spirit Sea Realm strongman. What to do? What to do? The tribespeople from the three clans felt despondent and trembled. They had been eagerly awaiting for the return of the young ones exploring the ancestral land, bringing back great treasures and opportunities. Now, they could no longer bear to think about what might happen once those children returned with treasures and fell prey to these three loose cultivators. In the crowd, many women and children from the three tribes started crying at that moment, even though they dared not cry loudly for fear of the terrifying trio in the sky. Their suppressed sobs made the melancholy even more palpable. "Young master, young master is about to come out from the ancestral land secret realm. With the young master's strength, he must have obtained a great deal of treasures in the secret realm. Are we really going to let these treasures be taken by these three villains? These are three powerful figures capable of flight. Even if the young master is strong, he can't possibly fight against three people. In the crowd, the young girl Tower watched as the green-robed elder knocked Patriarch by unconscious, her large eyes brimming with tears. Next to Tower, Yi Chen's parents, Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin, were even paler with despair. The sudden appearance of the three figures filled Yi Xiaotian and Lin Rin with immense worry for Yi Chen, who was about to emerge from the secret realm. All the tribespeople of the three clans were engulfed by a feeling of desolate powerlessness. In the sky, the three powerful loose cultivators, Xikong Miao, Wei Wuya, and Lei Qing watched with folded arms as the tribespeople wept, then turned their gaze to the dark vortex entrance of the ancestral land. The three awaited the arrival of their prey. In the outer region of the ancestral land secret realm, the young ones preparing to leave the ancestral land secret realm had no clue about the events transpiring outside. They were full of joy, having obtained a bounty of treasures with Yi Chen's help and through their own efforts. All the youngsters were thinking, once they returned with the treasures, their parents, their loved ones, and everyone in the three tribes would surely feel proud and honored. The youngsters were unaware that malicious figures had already bared their fangs, lying in wait for the moment they would step out. Chapter 119. A Chill in the Heart. The young warriors inside the secret realm were unaware of the events transpiring outside. However, Bai Xiaodia's mention of not having seen Yi Chen had caught everyone's attention. Yi Chen hasn't come out yet? Yeah, we really haven't seen Yi Chen. The young warriors looked around and indeed, as Bai Xiaodai had said, Yi Chen was nowhere to be found near them. Ever since they entered the central region of the ancestral land secret realm, they had been separated, each facing their trials within their respective ancient furnaces of creation. And since then, they hadn't seen Yi Chen. Later on, it was through the spirit of the sacred artifact that Bai Xiaodai learned that Yi Chen had the opportunity to enter the core area of the ancestral land. Even so, now that the 1-month exploration period had ended, Yi Chen should have emerged as well. Not seeing Yi Chen, all the young warriors began to worry. The help Yi Chen provided to all of them during the Golden Light Beads trial was something they would not forget. What should we do? Yi Chen hasn't come out. Should we leave or wait here for him? Many of the young warriors were initially prepared to drop their blood on the Ancestral Land Pass token and be teleported out of the Ancestral Land secret realm, but now realizing that they were one person short with Yi Chen missing, they all stopped in their tracks. Let's wait a bit first. Maybe Yi Chen will come out soon. Bai Xiaodai, Qian Ming, Yi Shui, and others all said aloud. All right, let's wait. With 1 day to leave the secret realm, Yi Chen should be on his way. All the young warriors sat down, preparing to wait for Yi Chen and leave the ancestral land secret realm together with him. At that moment, the voice of the spirit of the sacred artifact suddenly transmitted from the void. You don't need to wait for Yi Chen. He has already entered the ultimate challenge stage and is currently undergoing the trial. He doesn't need to leave today. When his ultimate challenge is over, I will personally send him out of the secret realm. As the spirit of the sacred artifact spoke, its immense visage also appeared above the green flow plains on the outer region. Yi Chen had entered the ultimate challenge stage? He didn't need to leave today? The young warriors, who had been waiting for Yi Chen, were startled by the appearance of the spirit of the sacred artifact's colossal face and its words. They had thought that Yi Chen was in the core area of the ancestral land, on his way out, but they couldn't have imagined that he had actually entered the ultimate challenge stage. The ultimate challenge was something the elderly clan leader had spoken of as a mysterious stage related to the most precious ultimate reward of the ancestral land secret realm. No one had ever managed to enter it before. Unexpectedly, not only had Yi Chen breached the core region of the ancestral land, but he had also ventured into the ultimate challenge stage. This was truly a surprise and a huge delight. No wonder Yi Chen hasn't come out even though the month for exploration was up. Turns out, he entered a truly great opportunity. The young warriors looked at each other, their faces showing envy and admiration. Yi Chun had never disappointed anyone, still as formidable as ever. Whether it was the Golden Light Beads trial in the outer region of the Ancestral Land Secret Realm or the challenge of the ancient furnaces of creation in the central region, none had stumped him. He had even stepped into the previously uncharted core region of the Ancestral Land during the first 5 openings, and further into the most precious ultimate challenge stage. The young warriors could not help but hold immense respect for Yi Chun. Artifact Spirit, how much longer will it take for Yi Chun to complete the ultimate challenge and exit the secret realm? Bai Xiaodai asked the spirit of the sacred artifact. How much longer? The spirit of the sacred artifact smiled faintly. That depends on Yi Chun's strength. I do not know how long he will take to continue his journey through the ultimate challenge. But the longer the better. The longer he stays, the greater his gains will be. At the very least another 6 or 7 days, and at most about a month, he should then leave the Ancestral Land's secret realm. In the ancient God Tower's 18 floors, one could cultivate for 30 days inside each floor, which equaled 3 days outside. Yi Chun had only just breached the 7th floor. So indeed, if he continued onwards, he would need a significant amount of time before he could leave. Of course, if Yi Chun were to stop around the 9th floor, then he would not stay for many more days. The longer the stay, the greater the reward? Bai Xiaodai nodded gently. Then, let's hope he stays a few more days in the secret realm. After the spirit of the sacred artifact finished responding to Bai Xiaodai's question, it looked at the other young warriors and spoke. Yi Chun's Ancestral Land's secret realm trial is still ongoing. Your 1-month trial ends today. Regardless of the outcome, once you leave, you must continue to work hard. The reward my old master offered to your 3 tribes has already been bestowed in this opportunity in the Ancestral Land secret realm. Now, leave the secret realm. Yi Chun will face his challenge well. You don't need to worry about him. Perhaps when you see him again, you will also be astonished by his progress. Hearing the spirit of the sacred artifact's words, all the young warriors nodded. Artifact Spirit, please take good care of Yi Chun for us. A young warrior called out to the Artifact Spirit. Please look after him, Artifact Spirit. The other young warriors also called out one after another. Seeing the Artifact Spirit nod, all the young warriors took out their Ancestral Land secret realm passes, and then they dripped their blood into the passes. Right after they dripped in their blood, their passes emitted endless light, and at the same time, a beam of light shot out directly from the dark vortex in the void. As the beam of light shone upon the young warriors, they instantly vanished from the Ancestral Land secret realm. After 29 beams of light, the 29 young warriors had all left the Ancestral Land secret realm. Watching as all the young warriors disappeared from the secret realm, the spirit of the sacred artifact turned its head and looked towards the core area of the Ancestral Land. These little fellows have all left. Now in the secret realm, there's only Yi Chun left. I really don't know which floor of the ancient God Tower Yi Chun will reach. I should go and take a look again. In the midst of speaking, the spirit of the sacred artifact vanished from the outer perimeter of the Ancestral Land secret realm, and once again entered the mysterious territory where the ancient God Tower was located. The Ancestral Land secret realm, also known as the Sacred Artifact Ethereal Spirit Holy Temple, is under the full control of the spirit of the sacred artifact within this sacred artifact, capable of instantaneously moving anywhere. However, back when Heavenly Saint Dekong left the 3 tribes, he locked the consciousness of the spirit of the sacred artifact inside the sacred artifact, and the artifact spirit did not know that the young warriors who left would face such great dangers once outside. Boom! After a ripple in the void, the 29 young warriors of the 3 tribes were teleported back outside the Ancestral Land secret realm, to the entrance of the 3 tribes' Ancestral Land. We're out. We've finally come out. Seeing the familiar statues in the center of the Ancestral Land, the young warriors displayed expressions of sheer excitement. After exploring the ancestral secret realm for a month, they had returned with great rewards. Once they had all teleported out, the dark entrance to the secret realm behind the 4th statue vanished once again. The young warriors were overjoyed, but they suddenly felt that something was amiss. Logically, many of their tribe members should be happily waiting for them at this time, but as they emerged from the secret realm, they noticed an eerie silence around them. And when they looked up at the surroundings of their ancestral land, they saw that their tribe members were indeed outside, but none of them wore happy expressions. Instead, upon seeing the young warriors, every one of the tribe members began shaking their heads. In an instant, the young warriors realized the source of the abnormal situation. They saw the three major loose cultivators from Wanya Mountain standing in the sky. At that moment, seeing the young warriors emerge from the ancestral land's secret realm, the eyes of the three major loose cultivators flashed with eagerness. "Ha ha! We've been waiting for you to come out. Come on, show us what secret treasures you've brought out from the ancestral land's secret realm." Sikong Miao, the leader of the three major loose cultivators, took a step through the void and appeared in front of the young warriors, and with a large hand, he grabbed Qian Ming of the 12th layer of true qi into his grasp. "Don't! What are you doing?" The actions of Sikong Miao caused all the young warriors to rush forward, and the tribesmen of the three tribes surged towards Sikong Miao as well. As Sikong Miao held Qian Ming in his hand, his eyes swept around, and then he turned to face the other young warriors rushing towards him. He sneered. "It seems you are unaware of the situation. Well, I'll tell you. We know all about your venture into the ancestral land's secret realm to find secret treasures. Now, hand over the treasures obediently, and we three might spare your lives. Otherwise, I don't mind killing you first and then taking the treasures. As for the others," Sikong Miao scanned the tribesmen rushing towards him. "Stay put if you want to live. If you really wish to seek death, then come on over." Boom! The words of Sikong Miao caused many of the tribesmen to halt in their steps. The young warriors, who had just emerged from the ancestral land's secret realm, were all stunned in disbelief. They had returned from the ancestral land feeling elated with their great finds, but it never crossed their minds that their treasures would attract the attention of a Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse. A Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse. As they looked up at the three major loose cultivators from Wanya Mountain standing in the void, all the young warriors' hearts turned cold. They were powerless against these three Spirit Sea Realm powerhouses. They couldn't protect the treasures they had obtained from the secret realm, but to just hand over their treasures to these three, the young warriors were even more reluctant and unwilling. Chapter 120. Hatred and Hope. "So, you want me to personally take the treasure?" Sikong Miao looked at the stupefied youths and sneered coldly. His divine sense swept over Qian Ming, whom he was holding, and he instantly discovered the ethereal spirit ring on Qian Ming's body. HM? A storage magic treasure. Sikong Miao clearly recognized the storage magic treasure. Being a Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse himself, he also possessed a storage magic treasure, but he could feel that Qian Ming's ethereal spirit ring was extraordinary, absolutely superior to his own storage magic treasure. "Hurry up and erase your divine sense from the storage magic treasure, and let me see what treasures are inside." Sikong Miao, with a greedy gaze, stared at the ethereal spirit ring, shouting at Qian Ming. "Dream on. Even if I die, I won't hand over the treasures to you." Inside the ethereal spirit ring were the golden light beads that Qian Ming had painstakingly collected, along with the 100,000 beads given by Yi Chun, which he had exchanged for precious items. How could Qian Ming willingly hand them over to Sikong Miao? Qian Ming, at the 12th level of true qi, also had his pride. Humph. You remind me. When I kill you, the divine sense on your storage magic treasure will disappear automatically. Since you're so reluctant to part with your treasures, don't blame me for being ruthless." As Sikong Miao spoke, his large hand suddenly burst forth with a bloody glow, instantly striking towards Qian Ming in his grasp.
No.
Everyone had not expected Sikong Miao to be so ruthless, to strike without warning. Seeing the terrifying bloody glow on Sikong Miao's hand aiming for Qian Ming, the other youths and the clansmen of the three clans all rushed furiously towards Sikong Miao, trying to save Qian Ming. But the attack of a Spirit Sea Realm powerhouse was incredibly fast. Not even the two patriarchs at the 12th level of true qi, not even by Xiaodai, a genius girl, could save Qian Ming from Sikong Miao's clutches in time. In an instant, Qian Ming was struck by Sikong Miao's attack. His defenses penetrated, directly hitting his body. Qian Ming had broken through to the 12th level of true qi with the aid of the small spirit pill, and was already considered one of the formidable figures among the clansmen present. But in front of Sikong Miao, a mid-stage Spirit Sea realm cultivator, he had no capacity to resist at all, and was directly struck by the vast true qi, shattering all his meridians, his vitality completely dissipated. In one move, Qian Ming, at the 12th level of true qi, who had obtained 3rd place in the great competition of the 3 clans, second in strength only to Bai Xiaodai and Yichun, was just like that killed by Sikong Miao. This completely drove the other clansmen of the 3 clans insane. After killing Qian Ming in one move, Sikong Miao, watching the clansmen of the 3 clans madly rush at him, sneered once more. His large hand swept up all the people rushing at him, and with a boom, all of them were thrown to the ground. Not a single person could withstand Sikong Miao, not even Patriarch Yi or Patriarch Qian, not even Bai Xiaodai. And with that, having repulsed the crowd, Sikong Miao flung his hand, casting the corpse of Qian Ming aside, while with the other hand, he drew Qian Ming's ethereal spirit ring into his grasp. Next, Sikong Miao's divine consciousness probed into the ethereal spirit ring, examining the contents within. Sikong Miao's lightning-fast moves, killing Qian Ming and repelling the others, demonstrated such ruthless and imposing methods which completely chilled the hearts of all clansmen of the 3 clans. They realized that their lives meant nothing in the eyes of Sikong Miao. Minger! At that moment, Qian Ming's parents, seeing their son killed and his body flung away, cried out in heart-wrenching agony and rushed frantically towards Qian Ming's corpse. When they found Qian Ming lifeless, his unpracticed parents, heedless of their own safety, ran crazily towards Sima Miao, determined to fight him to the death. Before Qian Ming's parents could reach Sikong Miao, Lei Qing, the 3rd of the 3 loose cultivators in the void, snorted coldly. With a flick of his finger in the air, he sent the 2 flying dozens of feet away. The parents were instantly struck down to the ground and lay there, their condition unknown. Seeing Qian Ming's parents fallen and uncertain of life or death, looking at the killed corpse of Qian Ming, looking at Patriarch Bai who had earlier passed out, all the clansmen of the 3 clans felt their anger ignite. Let's fight them. Fight them with everything we've got. At worst, we all die as warriors of the 3 clans. All the martial artists of the 3 clans roared and furiously charged at the 3 loose cultivators. They were ready to lay down their lives to clash with the 3 loose cultivators. At that moment, Wei Wuya, the 2nd of the 3 loose cultivators who had yet to take action and a mid-stage Spirit Sea realm powerhouse, simply flicked his finger. Instantly, several sparks flew toward the martial artists at the forefront of the charge. In an instant, these martial artists from the 3 clans were reduced to ashes, leaving no corpses behind. The 3 loose cultivators, Sikong Miao, Wei Wuya, and Lei Qing, one more ruthless than the other, with these venomous strikes, cast despair into the hearts of the Yi and Chen patriarchs from the 3 clans. The 2 patriarchs knew that if they didn't stop their people, all of them might die at the hands of the 3 loose cultivators. They had already lost a genius young man, Qian Ming, and did not wish to lose more of their clansmen. Stop it! Stop right there! Both patriarchs, with tears streaming down, flew in front of their clansmen, blocking those who were charging with no regard for their own lives. It wasn't until the 2 patriarchs intervened, after seeing the few martial artists burned to ashes, after seeing the many clansmen injured by Sikong Miao's earlier sweeping attack, after seeing the unconscious patriarch by Qian Ming's parents,